No, I'm not. Hi, Kelmie. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. We'll just get to work out how much delay there is on the call or whether it's banging and fresh. How wonderful for us to be here.
Yes, we finally get to meet face to face after all of these years.
And that says something about EME as well, doesn't it? And the Internet of Things and how we can be in a team working across the world and never having met. I mean, it's fantastic.
For at least 10 years, too. So I'm not even sure how long, but quite a while.
Well, maybe we'll make part of the wish of our conference is that all of us get to see each other in person.
It really helps. Like the online is wonderful, and I love being able to reach out to people around the world. But it's just not the same as connecting face to face, is it?
Yeah, well, I mean, this is something that's been on my mind a lot because as healers, there was a sense that we were running a kind of one-room hotel and we could only see one person after the other in physical reality, whereas the pressure on people's lives demanded that distant healing be explored, proved, and gain confidence in. And so now we don't have to drive for half an hour and park our car and then have a healing session and then do the same thing again. We can just sit quietly in our home and experience healing with any professional around the world.
I love it. It's interesting to see how my practice changed over the last 5 years from an in person to almost entirely remote. Yeah, I
Right. So
like
in
it.
a sense, what we're saying is the outreach benefit is awesome, but the personal touch thing is fabulous too. So we need to strive to do both,
Exactly. So here we
es-
are.
especially for people who need that presence and touch and can't just kind of get it on their own.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
well,
it
that's
can be
wonderful.
isolating. Like
So,
one of yes.
when we were talking about this event, I suggested we might speak to our new friends and old friends and introduce really what is the energy medicine exchange and why and why it exists and why it's important to so many of us. And I think there's been some key events in its history as well, which I'd like to discuss. But from my perspective, EME is an exchange like any other exchange, and we wanted to set out to raise the vibration of all exchanges, and that's something a little abstract. But I would suggest that the stock exchange, like the FTSE and the the Dow index, are such a huge part of the commodity exchange, are such a huge part of people's wellness now that it's important for there to be a kind of transparency, a light injected into that act of exchange, because perhaps people whose best intent was only to serve themselves in those exchanges. So that's the kind of esoteric element of the energy medicine exchange. But I mean, I think we also believe that energy medicine as an umbrella term describes all of the different modalities that we practice.
Definitely.
So from that perspective, how did you get here? How did you become an energy medicine umbrella holder?
That's a great question. I was a massage therapist already, and I'd been a massage therapist for several years. And then in 2001, I was in a car accident. I was rear-ended in a car accident. It was a pretty minor accident, but it completely took me out. And I was unable to work. I was disabled with pain. I had chronic migraines, fibromyalgia, um, uh, occipital neuritis, just a bunch of diagnoses. And I tried everything. I went through $100,000 on my car accident insurance, trying everything, including some energy modalities. I did have acupuncture and physical therapy and massage and rolfing, all kinds of things. And I was still left crippled and in pain. And basically I was told that I just needed to go on disability and live with it. And at the
This is
time,
quite a common theme, isn't it, for people to
yeah,
come into serious energy medicine? Because, I mean, even with doctors, I see them come to this forum because they've had a child who's not been served by all the other things. But what you're saying is you tried some energy techniques, but not one of them didn't stand out.
nothing really helped. And at the time I was even a Reiki master actually, but it wasn't really, nothing was really working for me until I went to this class in 2003. I went to just a basic introductory 5-day class with Donna Eden. And I just felt once I was there, like, this is it. This is what's going to help me. I just had this strong feeling in my soul, and I just went for it and pursued every kind of training I possibly could with her.
Right.
And I ended up doing what was called the grid training. And that, I think, is what was the linchpin for my healing.
Right.
And after just over a year of beginning to study with her, I was back to restarting my massage practice, which I had been told I would never do. They had told me I could maybe work 3 hours a week if I did that work in a recliner chair initially. That's what the doctors had said.
So what you're saying, I'm interpreting, is there's a journey ahead of us. You know, if we can get out of any pain, any personal injury. I mean, you downplayed the injury, but then you clarified that it was actually a very serious thing. It didn't seem like much, but it actually seriously injured you.
Well, it wasn't so much a serious injury, I think, is what it was. It was an energetic issue. And I think because until I treated it energetically, I really was just kind of spinning my wheels. And what's been fascinating over the years as I've worked with Donna Eden, studied with her, and teaching with her now for the past 16 years, I've been on her faculty. And what's been amazing is seeing this same thing happen for hundreds of people, watching their healing. That has been one of the most gratifying things about this.
Wow. So again, what we're experiencing here is that if people don't have a basic understanding of themselves, and they only have the physical body chemistry perspective, on tap, they don't have the resources to even access healing tools. It's only when they properly learn the anatomy and physiology of the human being, which is what Donna teaches in her courses, then they can allow the healing to occur, because they get what they've been missing in their understanding of who they are.
Yes. And what I really liked about this was, and all I know, everyone else, all the presenters today are going to offer similar tools. She offers tools for self-healing. So for me, it felt empowering, because here there had been years of just seeing people, they would, do whatever, wave their hands over me, do things, but I was disempowered. I wasn't actively participating in my healing. But with this work, it was, I had to participate. I had to do the work every day to help shift my energies. And that's what I love about this, because I feel like with my clients, I'm always kind of co-creating. We're co-creating their healing together. It's not what I do in a session with them that really does the work. It's what they do in between to help things hold and balance. And I loved learning that I can impact my energy body just with my hands. I didn't need any special tools. I don't need any gadgets. I could just use my hands. And that was just phenomenal for me.
This is the ultimate gift of a healer, isn't it? Is to empower one to be able to heal oneself. I mean, there's a lot of excitement about, not being entangled as well. If you give someone the ultimate gift and they can pass it on, there isn't this codependency developing where you see each other every Thursday afternoon at 2:00 or whatever it is. So stripping this now back, as we've done kind of beautifully and unexpectedly, how do we make this healing toolkit a toolkit that a young person wants to access. You know, a lot of people in the younger generations are getting information about energy fields and chakras from their computer games. You know, they know more about the vibrancy and the brightness of someone's biofield, I would suggest, than other people who, unless you go study yoga or Eden energy medicine, you might not come across that kind of information unless it's being given to you as, this is an alternative or even, pseudoscience. That's often how it's billed. But we're now in a different age, aren't we? Where young people have a mistrust for authority and this programmed worldview that potentially we've also been kind of out of its gaze. The worldview says take vaccines, get your flu shot now. If you're a certain age, go have a checkup. There isn't this preventative power system that we have in holistic healthcare, I don't think, being offered to young people, but they do have these interesting cues, like I suggested in gaming. So how do we make our toolkit available to them? I think my answer is through other young people.
Yes, and also making it fun is first thing that comes to mind. It's fun. It needs to be pleasant. It doesn't need to be serious. And actually, fun is very healing. Laughter is healing. Smiles are healing. You're going to heal more when you're having a good time than being very serious about it.
I'm always challenging people just to optimize. Like we are where we are, but can you take all these things and optimize them? I mean, that's what I'm doing with my work. And I guess having tools like Donna Eden has taught us is also a challenge to optimize. But if you don't know that there are choices, that's where I feel we have to beat the drum and get back on the old orange box and kind of muscle our way through the corporate advertising. And to a certain extent, that's why we're doing this event now, because our conversation, however classical it is, with two of us in our little boxes sitting side by side introducing this event, we're also saying one-liners, like you just said. It's about having fun, and that might be the thing that allows someone to click on and share a little bit more of their attention than the 3 seconds that we're all being kind of energized into allowing, such a short amount of time for different things. But anyhow, we certainly have exciting grounds for setting up EME and supporting it. And, I think the reason why you and I are here, because even in the dark days of when Facebook was just a bit of a mush, we stood guard, if you like. We adminned the group. And that's also allowed for it to be a formidable platform today, because there's plenty of other groups and plenty of other online communities that, just didn't sustain themselves. There wasn't enough enough logs on the fire, as it were, to maintain it through a dark night. So I'm very grateful to you for that. I really am.
Well, you're welcome. It felt so important to keep EME going. So I sort of just plugged on with it. and I can see, I mean, as someone who admins lots of groups, I could see that, yes, the energy medicine exchange group was being shadow bound. You were not imagining that. It was happening. And I know in the Eden energy medicine world, I mean, we had to find other alternatives to work around that. We actually started a membership site because of it, because Facebook wasn't happening as much and because of censorship. And so I do think it's important to sort of reclaim it. I like the idea of reclaiming it and stepping back into it and just.
Yeah. Speaking our truth and providing a platform. And I mean, there are two aspects to EME as well. There's promoting energy medicine, but also protecting it. You know, I've seen so many devices in this same, you know, Facebook world, so many weird vibrational healing devices and beds and med beds. And I'm just like, where's the science, guys? I see that you're pumping them out and wanting people to buy them, but where's the science? So, you know, that's why I feel the urge to protect. Something like Eden Energy Medicine is supported by David and a whole team of people doing, you know, studies and showing stage by stage, you know, even in all integrative perspectives that, you know, we're getting formidable results. So yeah, that element of protect energy medicine, I think, is just as important as promoting it. You know, just making sure that, you know, everyone who uses or wants to be under this professional umbrella to call themselves medicine, you know, does the due diligence. And I just find that, I guess it's part of caring, you know, caring that your field is being put as well forward by everybody.
Right. And part of what energy medicine is, it doesn't need to be expensive. You don't need to like necessarily get expensive devices or anything to impact your energy. And honestly, you know, the most high-tech device that I use every single day is a spoon. And that's about it. I use a stainless steel spoon, and that is what facilitates grounding for me, because what that does, spooning our feet, and this can be proven, when we spoon the bottoms of our feet, what that does is it aligns our body's magnetic north-south polarity with the magnetic north-south polarity of the earth, which is necessary. It absolutely has to happen in order for you to ground. If you are not aligned, it's almost like if you have a stack of refrigerator magnets and you flip one and now there's a force field preventing it, right? You can never fully connect. So if we're not aligned, we're not going to connect. So you can get all these devices, but if they're not going to work if you're not in alignment already.
That's so funny you say that. I have exactly that same experience, and grounding and not being grounded shows up in the biofields in a certain way. And I'm sure it's a bit like those magnets, but we just get to see it. And I just say to people, well, I don't know about spooning, because I just say, go and stand outside in bare feet for a couple of days and then come back. Because as you've suggested, if you're not grounded, anything, however you know, expensive or long you've trained in it, isn't going to work. So that's brilliant. Can you demonstrate the spooning thing as your tip? How do you rub it?
I'm going to let me grab one thing, and I'll show you.
Yeah, I mean, come on, girl.
I've learned we're not supposed to ever like put our foot up to the camera. It's just not a good look. But
but you could use your hand. Oh my word!
So we just take a spoon, and this is a jumbo spoon. I like a big one because I also spoon my spine. But
right, you can do it yourself.
And it's stainless steel. Doesn't have to stick to a magnet or anything. Just has to be stainless steel. Silver doesn't work. And you just rub with like little figure eight, or you can also run the energy out. I also like to take the edge of the spoon and sort of scrape along. These are called the gates, the gate reflex points in between the metatarsal bones there, and just kind of scrape off when it feels like staticky, when we're having a lot of solar flares maybe, or the Schumann resonance is extra high. You might feel like you pick up some extra energy. I like to just sort of scrape it off with that. But yeah, you can spoon your feet. That will align your body's magnetic north-south polarity. You can also rub the spoon on your spine, which will help to stabilize polarity. You can also, when muscles or areas get like tight or frozen, you can just rub it. So it's another good thing for pain too. So honestly, this is my truly most often used high-tech device. I use it
That's your magic
all the
wand.
time.
Well, that's brilliant. I mean, I think that's absolutely brilliant. And I think, however bizarre this toolkit is by, 7 o'clock this evening, British time, the better. I mean, I had no idea there was going to be a big spoon in it when I started this morning, but now I do. And of course, I don't know whether you recall, but the one thing I was hoping for is that someone would teach us a kind of repolarization
Oh,
technique. So you've dived
there
in
you go.
now, and
That's
that's
it. And
brilliant.
then grounding will work better. Any grounding techniques will work better once your polarity is set, because otherwise you're just kind of fighting that force field. But
You
then
see
otherwise,
so many, you see so many workshops with spoon bending. And my experience of spooning, as you described, is working on an adobe house in Mexico. There was a whole team of guys. I helped with the foundation, so I was good watching the rest of these guys. They were literally spooning the walls of this house for
to make it
weeks
all smooth and pretty.
because, yeah, just to kind of make that crusty, outside shell waterproof. So I'm certainly aware of the wonders of spoons, apart from obviously eating my soup. But I think this is a brilliant sort of grab, isn't it, from the kitchen sink, a tool for healing. And probably what we're talking about now is the biggest issue for mankind, isn't it? They're not
Grounding.
grounded. We're not grounded.
Yes, because they're not outside. People aren't walking barefoot. They're wearing rubber-soled shoes, which kind of keeps you from really connecting. Yeah, and they're not in their bodies too. A lot of it, they're not. A lot of it, a lot of screen time keeps you from being fully in your body.
There's a machine called Alistair antennae. Have you seen them?
I've seen the posts in Energy Medicine Exchange, but I have not.
Right. Well, I mean, they've been around for years. But what I quite like about that device is that you can work out very quickly, as you're describing, how much someone is not only not grounded, but also where they're leaning. Their biofield and the whole body can sort of lean and flare away, as you said, from screen time. With the Leicester antenna, you can then work out kind of to what degree you're not in your body. And I think these kinds of tools are quite useful as we move forward, because the Leicester antenna is just basically a little, analog gadget. It looks like a ruler. So now we've got a spoon and a ruler in our energy medicine toolkit. So we've got a few minutes left before we're going to introduce our first speaker. So I guess we should look to today. We've certainly explored the roots of today by discussing our passion for healing and energy medicine exchange, and we should big up all the other admins as well who do that work too. But as far as today's concerned, here we are right at the end of the Christmas period. We've had the day after Christmas and the day after that. And so here we are, and people are thinking about, where am I going to go for New Year and celebrate New Year? But there's this moment, isn't there? And this is the moment where people make their resolutions. And certainly when I was young, it was like, I'm going to give up smoking, or I'm going to give up, drinking so much coffee, or eating ice cream in the middle of the night, or whatever it is that's not serving me. But it's also, a kind of opportunity to take things up, like I'm going to jog every morning, or I'm actually going to do my yoga practice every day that I learned and I invested in, and now I'm in a kind of wanting to do that and be the new me, but I'm not there yet. So I'm going to use this date after Christmas, after all the presents, to make this silent commitment to myself. And that's how I see it. That's how I see this is. And that's why I thought that this would be a great time to challenge. Not everyone is going to watch this live or today, but in this week or two, if you see and hear this challenge, it's valid as if it was live. And that's what we're all giving you today, is this opportunity to optimize, like take who you are now and strengthen all those aspects of you so that you can do it better. That's what energy medicine to me promises. It also promises healing when you have a health challenge. But in terms of just now, energy healing, as you even suggested, it allows you to go into those deep traumas, those deep kind of issues, and unlock them and sort of come back better and stronger.
Absolutely. I mean, in fact, my goal when I got into energy medicine was just to heal myself, just to heal my body physically so that I could function. But a really interesting and fantastic side effect was healing very deep trauma and going back. So yes. And I'm the same too with the New Year's. I like to start things fresh. Like it feels like a new chance, a new beginning, a time to start fresh. And I like having just a few days to sort of play with it before jumping in, because sometimes it's too hard to start everything on the first, right? So it's sort of nice to kind of ease into it this week.
Yeah. I mean, would you practically spoon every day or once a week?
Oh yeah. I spoon at least once a day. I usually spoon morning and night because it also helps you to sleep. It's also very helpful for a restless leg to spoon your feet before bed. But I'll spoon it anytime I feel off. If I feel like I start to feel like woozy, or you just sort of feel like you flip, that sort of feeling, that's when I know, oh, my polarity went off. And it happens a lot when we're having solar flares, I've noticed.
Right.
That's when it tends to flip. And we have energy. We have a way of testing, by the way. We use energy testing, applied kinesiology testing to determine imbalances and things. So we can determine that through energy testing, when polarity's off or how deep grounding is and all of that. So I can test and see.
Sorry to interrupt. Do you do a course in energy testing?
Me personally, I don't, but we have some courses in energy testing. Yeah.
Right. So it's a hidden energy medicine thing. So
yeah,
maybe
and it's
even
Touch for Health and applied kinesiology testing. Yeah, so we can actually test our polarity. So like once you have an energy test that works for you, like some people will do, I don't have a jug here, but like say you pick up a big jug, like pick up a big jug and see, okay, how easy is it for me to pick this up, right? And then you put your hand down on your head. So this is how it should be aligned. You should be strong with the palm of your hand on your head. So now try, okay. Now, how is it? Now it should be good. It should be at least as easy. But then if I go like, now it's hard to lift because now I've put the back of my hand here. So that's like testing. So that's how we check. That's how we can check our polarity, just by doing that.
So that's you're saying you use muscle testing in any different form. I've never seen that one before, but that's brilliant. So again, what you're suggesting is that we can learn simple tricks which we can do ourselves, which give us the confidence to see how we're doing and whether we want to do this or that.
Exactly. We can learn to do the exercises and kind of tune in to how they feel and when we notice, but we can also actually just check ourselves. Like, and I will do that. Like if I'm feeling woozy, I might check, oh gosh, is my polarity off? Am I hooked up? We have different tests for all of what we call basic energetic organization, which means is your polarity corrected? Are your energies crossing? Are your circuits connected? You're not scrambled. We test for all of these things. So yeah, we can absolutely check them ourselves.
Wonderful. So it sounds you've been very clever today, Kelmie, because you've been kind of like you pulled out a secret weapon twice, a spoon and then a foot. That was lethal. And then now you're giving us all a really kind of open invitation to go deeper into all these different things, which are relevant and useful and exciting, because you didn't only use them to heal yourself and, as you said, really get to deep traumas, but then you also got excited enough to be a career and for you to actually spend the time teaching others this thing. Right.
So gratifying. Again, hundreds of people seeing these amazing, miraculous recoveries when nothing else works, seeing energy medicine works. So, yeah.
And what you've mentioned also about the solar flares is that we need to be mindful about what's going on in the ballpark. You know, I remember the day we used to have this app that was sort of biorhythms, and if all of our biorhythms were in the low, it was best to just sit at home and read a book. But there is actually a much greater wisdom in exploring our astrology, our biofields, the solar weather, not just the news. That's what you're also saying, isn't it? You're
Yes,
saying
it's all part of
broaden
this
your
that we're in.
Hi, Alistair.
Hi.
How are you
Hi.
doing?
I'm great. How are you?
We're having a lot of fun here, as if there's nobody else here.
I love it.
Yeah, there's toothless me and beautiful Kelmie.
It's been forever.
And yeah, well, exactly. Well, we've never met before. Kelmie and I have never met before. At least you and I have sat round a campfire.
Yeah.
True, no? So I think, Kelmie, what I'm going to do now is let you go, because we should quickly introduce Alistair, who's got not very much time to do her thing. And I know she's an expert in people who get kind of blown out. Yeah. And that's a really big issue, because modern society seems to have blown everybody out. So I'd be really excited to hear what she's going to tell us today, but then also, you know, dig deeper into what she's got as well, because Kelmie's brought her spoon and her foot along, but invited us into the Aladdin's cave that is self-screening. And now we're going to hand the microphone over to you and let you tell us what's happening next.
Wonderful.
Brilliant. Okay, well, if Gaurav's there, I think we're going to just disappear.
Okay. Great. Kelmie, are you going to introduce, or should I just go? You're muted.
Oh, there we go.
Beautiful.
Here we have Alistair Hawks, who's going to give us a fabulous presentation. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Do I just share screen from here?
I think so. I will get out of here, and that should give you all of the options.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here. Great. Let's see how I share my screen. I don't know how to do this. This is new for me. Yay! Hi, I am Alistair Hawks. I am super excited to be here, because this is kind of like when the pioneers of energy medicine began speaking and sharing their truth about anomalous experience at what was known as the ICEAM conference. And I'll talk about that in just a second. But things that we can talk about today are energy medicine, matter, energy, fields, forces. We've already kind of done a broad view of that, qualities of energy, chi, ki, qui, the morphologic field, intra and extra meridians, the role consciousness plays in everything, and Hike for Evolution as a pathway to personal transformation. I'm so excited to be here because back in the day when I was 12 years old, which was a very long time ago, I met a man named Joel Levy. Many of us in the energy medicine world know Joel Levy as a lifetime meditator. He taught me how to meditate when I was 12, when my mom used to run the Biofeedback Society meetings. And I had been exposed to concepts like applied focus and concentration and all of the things, mindfulness, meditation, things that Elmer Green was studying in biofeedback years before the Subtle Energies Society came into being. And my mother, Penny Hirnu, started and birthed that organization back in 1989. Many of us know each other because of the Subtle Energies, the International Society for the Study of Subtle Energies and Energy Medicine. And they published the pioneering research on anomalous healing experience and the role that consciousness plays in healing. And so I stand on the shoulders of giants who came to really visibility through that organization. I was the admin from 1989 through 2007, and then I went and finished college and became a licensed clinician. I've practiced psychotherapy ever since then, and I teach the Hike for Evolution principles to all of my students and all of my clients in my private practice, and also in my online education business. Hike for Evolution it stands for Human Inner Keys for Evolution. Inner keys are these things that we discover through the practices of energy medicine, through the use of these tools that we've been given, that we are really rediscovering within ourselves. Like Kelmie was saying, we don't need something outside of ourselves. We really don't even need that spoon to ground. But we do need to go outside. We do need to apply our focus and concentration to grounding, to healing ourselves, to nourishing our field, to cleaning our field, all of those things. And as we apply those practices, we create real change within ourselves. So I want to take you on a journey. I want you to zoom way far out, zoom out into the universe, to the Big Bang. If you can, imagine in your mind, while you're wiggling your toes, you are two particles in different space-time. When you're thinking about stardust, when you're thinking about the gaseous cloud, we are that stuff that's being organized: carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, all of the periodic table of elements, all of the matter of the universe. We are that. And that is a koan in many meditations. I am that. And I think it's important to remember that this is where we come from. This is the subtle and not so subtle energies of energy medicine. Zooming in a little bit to our own galaxy. We're in the Milky Way, one galaxy of many galaxies. And within this amazing, beautiful galaxy that when you don't have light pollution, you can see it stretched across the sky. We're in there. Our stuff is being organized within this galaxy, these fields of energy that exist everywhere. The Earth has an electromagnetic field. The galaxy has an electromagnetic field. Our bodies have an electromagnetic field. Trees, fruit, we are all expressing the fractal nature of the unfolding of this amazing universe. It's really incredible to think about. So when we practice, when we do these things, when we use energy medicine, we're affecting our field. We are activating sacred geometry. We are perhaps allowing or teaching ourselves to be more aware of more of the spectrum of light, of more frequencies of energy, of different kinds of hertz, of different qualities of energy. When we gather in a group like this, we are participating in conscious coherence. And when we are consciously coherent, amazing things happen. Many of us sat in the big ballroom at the ICEAM conference in the 90s and meditated together while we're talking about the science of meditation and really feeling the creation of that field together, 500 people in a ballroom talking about meditation, meditating, and then talking about the science of meditation and how it creates this field, how our hearts, when they're in resonance, create a field, how our brains, when they are in coherence, create a field. Our body has a field of energy. And when we're conscious about all of those fields and we're doing things that help them organize in good ways together, amazing things happen. Awareness, intention, alignment, resonance. This creates a coagulation in a coherent field. And so it begins with our awareness. All of it begins with awareness of anomalous experience, awareness of healing, awareness of a field, awareness of grounding, awareness of where we are in space-time. As we become more aware and as we practice, we cultivate life force energy and we refine it and we collect it in our cups, in our chakras, in our dantian. And so it's not just a movement, it's not just an intention, it's not just a visualization. Something deeper is happening. And early in those years at the Subtle Energies Society, we talked about how technology wasn't sensitive enough yet to measure the electromagnetic field. Well, I think that Thornton's research has probably demonstrated that. I know that Elmer Green in his copper wall experiment took many stabs at that, trying to really measure the electromagnetic field in the body or the electromagnetic field of other living things. And so here we are, where we get to actually assume these things now, because there's plenty of research. If you need to, go look at the National Institutes of Health. There's plenty of research on subtle energies. There's research on Reiki. There's research on heart rate variability. There's research on biofeedback. There's research on energy medicine and energy psychology. All of those things have been documented. So we're lucky about that. The system that I teach, Hike for Evolution, we have documented 6 steps to creating your energetic life field, to participate, to coagulate, to create conscious coherence within yourself. And those are centering, grounding, synchronizing hemispheres of your brain, synchronizing movement with breathing, with mindfulness, cleaning your field, knowing how to clean your field, knowing how to let go, knowing how to nourish your field, and then knowing how to shield yourself so that you're not leaking energy, so that people aren't farming your energy, so that you can be a coherent field in a kind of chaotic world. So this is how we consciously organize the stuffs of which we all are. This is our field, the Taurus field, the Merkaba, the light body. All of these things are different words for what we are in a grand scheme, at a very subtle level, at a particle level, at an expressive level, at an engaged level. As we use our awareness, as we use our intention, excuse me, as we breathe consciously, as we move consciously, we're participating in creating this coherent field that we are. I need some liquid. Once we're aware, once we're connected to our breath, once we are conscious of our movement, we can use tapping. We can tap our antenna. We have 4 antennae. These are points that we do this with me. These are points that we can open. We get our chi flowing as we tap. You can tap your central channel right here, the axis. The axis of energy that runs from the top of your head to the tip of your tailbone. Imagine it with me right now. Physiologically, this is your backbone. It is a physiological, it's a physical, biological thing that you can open up a body and take a look at. It's the thing that helps us run and jump and move. But energetically, it carries all of the messages, electromagnetic messages from the brain to the body, and the body to the brain, to all the muscles, to all of the little micro movements that we make in our faces, to the tone of our voice, to the way that our voice clenches up when we haven't really talked a whole lot during the day or in the morning yet. So Our backbone is physical, but the axis of energy is energetic. And so when we think about this axis of energy, we are activating that line of energy. We're connecting to all that is above and below. We can extend that axis out the top of our heads. We can drill it down into the earth to ground. This axis of energy is our essence. And when we are in our axis, we are centered. We have brought our awareness inside of ourselves, which gives us more possibility. When we activate our senses, color, aroma, taste, and sound, and we run it through our axis, we're actually participating in creating neural pathways between the front of our brain and the back of our brain, and the right side of our brain and the left side of our brain, so that we become a whole-brained person versus right or left-brained or somatically oriented. So we are aware in our senses, we're aware in our essence. We can synchronize through movement, excuse me, doing different hand movements where one hand moves slower than the other. There are many ways that we can synchronize right and left hemispheres of our brain. But one of the most simple is to think about color, aroma, taste, and sound. And it will show up on a brain map if you are thinking about color. If you're actually perceiving an aroma in your mind, your olfactory nerve lights up. It's really incredible. We are so much more than we've been taught. Ways to clean our field, sweeping, gathering cords. I'm sure Donna has a wealth of tools to offer us about this. And because I'm sitting down, I'm not going to stand up and do those, but here's one. Eyes in the lake of the belly. Imagine that you can envision what's going on down here in your lower dantian cup. Imagine that you can drop your eyeballs down a channel and see what's happening in this dantian, planting seeds of information from the light down into the belly, where we're moving, where we've cultivated some of this chi and ki and kui energy. So we're dropping seeds down into the lake of the belly so they can germinate, so we can create intentionally, so that we can be all we're meant to be. As we practice these things, we contact our 7 levels of mind, which help us reorganize our automatic pilot, our reflexive mind, our instinctive minds. We can actually recalibrate and retune them differently by using energy medicine practices. Happy memories help us stay in an emotionally intelligent environment within, instead of getting caught up in unconscious fears. When we notice that that's happening, when we're noticed that we're caught up in anger or fear or pain, we can actually switch tracks by thinking of a positive memory. So these are just a few of the energy medicine tools that I offer to people who come to see me. And I know that we've got just about 12 minutes left. So let's see, here's your toolkit. Breathing in breath work, tapping, opening your gates, creating a contact between your intrameridians inside the body and the extrameridians on the outside of your second skin, your morphologic field, that external boundary of the field. We're creating through conscious movement these pathways that help us access things that are maybe beyond our normal human awareness. Access cat's 3 legs, eyes in the belly, 7 levels of mind, happy memories, exercise. There's your toolkit. Rushed through that because I know that we are short on time. But here are some ways for you to get in touch with me. Again, real change comes through the application of Higg will. Higg will, the Higg boson, is a particle that interacts in a field of energy. And through that interaction, through that friction, creates mass. So through our intention, through our conscious participation in the unfolding, the grand unfolding of consciousness, of matter, of energy, real change becomes possible. And so I encourage you to practice and to grow and to transform and to plant seeds and to watch them come to fruition. That's me. Questions. I'm open to questions and just happy to be here. I'm going to shut that. Hi, everyone.
That was so much. Ooh, I muted. Can you hear me? You can hear me. Yes. That was excellent. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Questions.
Yeah,
I'm
pretty
really
blown away.
Woo!
Yeah, I mean, everyone I'm sure is wanting you to talk more about the lady in the lake and the cat with 3 legs, because I'm not sure we all got it, but I guess that's the excitement, is the possibility of, you know, being in contact with each other. You know, when we're inspired by a particular teacher or modality, we just follow it up, don't we? And we follow it the whole way through. So I like that. I like, there's your toolkit right now. You know, I thought that was brilliant. But the other thing that you've done just now is you took us on a journey, you know, exploring the very outer reaches of consciousness and then back to the very innermost reaches, all just with a few slides. And I don't quite know how you did it. I thought it may be in your gravelly hypnotic voice, but then I realized you're just kind of like, you know, getting over the flu like I am. But yeah, wow. How exciting, Alistair. That was really brilliant. And it was empowering because it was so simple. And yeah, I don't even know where we're going to see questions, to be honest. So even if there are 3 people in the front row going, me, unless Gaurav says, you know, so-and-so's got a question for you, I think we're just going to have to keep honoring you.
I
But
want
you
to
said
just say, Thornton, I just want to say that I appreciate that you have been carrying this torch. And I really believe that all of the pioneers, precursors maybe, we might actually be the pioneers who are going to deliver this to humanity, because, you know, we don't get together in large groups like we used to. And it is amazing that we can be online and teach these things and speak with each other while you are in Europe. I mean, Monitor and Elmer talked about that when they did some of that stuff at ICEAM. And Monitor said that something was going to happen with travel that was going to make it impossible for people to get together. And here we are. Yeah.
It certainly happened. And I'm sure with the, you know, current revelations, you know, travel might be restricted further. Yes, for sure. So, I mean, just tell us a little bit more about how people can get in contact with you. I mean, I've shared your website, Alistair Hawkes,
Thank
but
you.
you've also got your empowering thing. Can you give us all the different tracks?
Yeah, sure. I have some online courses available on School. You can find all of that stuff through my website, alistairmhawks.com. I am starting a small cohort of 5 therapists to teach this material, teach burnout recovery so that they can recover themselves from being blown out, or so that they have a toolbox that they can give to other people, teach the Hike Revolution system, and I teach therapists how to scale their practice. So that's exciting for people who are interested in getting out of like the systems as they kind of are right now. So you can just kind of find that stuff through my website and through my School community.
And your Facebook group, what's the umbrella there, and who needs to come and join?
Yep, Wellness with Energy Medicine and Energy Psychology.
Right. So, but that's for anyone. That's the male, female.
That's right.
It's not a specific. Yeah, anyone,
Nope.
anyone. So let's just invite anyone to join your group. Can you say it again one more time? That's quite a mouthful.
Wellness with Energy Medicine and Energy Psychology.
Brilliant, brilliant. Well, that is an important differentiation, isn't it? I mean, we have energy medicine conferences and we have energy psychology conferences, and I guess energy psychology ultimately accepts that it's a subset of energy medicine in the same way psychology is a subset of medicine. But by highlighting it, you're sort of opening the door that there is a new technique, a fast technique, a powerful technique that's entered the psychological world. Yeah, and it needs to be honored and taught and presented. Did you learn EFT and simple tapping techniques like that in the day?
I studied a little bit of the TFT, which was kind of before EFT, and but it's all the same thing. The tapping, the mindfulness, the intentionality. I mean, the energy psychology piece, I think, would be more like some of the EMDR, where you're combining that kind of repetitive eye movement with the tapping, with trauma work, and or parts work where you're assuming multiple voices within. And so that would be the distinction for me about the energy psychology pieces. How are people using energy medicine to deal with the mental health aspects of what people are struggling with?
You speak with an authority which is often lacking with therapists, and I guess it's because of what you were saying earlier, is that you were there for so many years with all the elders, handing over all their tips and sort of techniques. That's what I'm really enjoying the most about seeing you again here on our etheric stage.
Yeah, it's so great to be able to share again and participate. I love being a part of the community, of the greater community, from our elders or the people in the 80s to the people who are coming into the field.
Right, but you mentioned TFT. I guess that's that Tapas Fleming. Is that's what you're talking about?
That is thought field therapy. So that was Roger Callahan, who was a psychotherapist who developed tapping in relation to dealing with like psychological reversals and trauma that wouldn't really release. And then the guy who developed EFT came in, I believe he was a student of Roger Callahan.
And so it's all carried on. I mean, it's definitely beautiful families emerging, isn't it? And techniques and more accessible techniques, but there is some really deep roots in all of this. That's what you're saying, which is beautiful, because people can dive into that, can't they? They can really explore all these different techniques. And the other thing I think is relevant is that the energy psychology modalities have probably done more research, more published research, because the cadre of professionals who were doing energy psychology were already psychologists. They were already doctors and qualified and had access to universities. So it really is a blessing in a way. If you and I get to look back over the last 20 years and go, well, thank God there was this really fertile work going on.
Yeah. Right. Thank God. Or whatever.
Totally brilliant. Well, I mean, if there are any more questions for you, I'll make sure you get them so that you can hand them on and forward to the relevant parties. But essentially, you know, this is a kind of welcome back event. You know, we suggested we're getting the band back together after a bit of a lull, and it's really exciting. I mean, I started this evening or whatever it is, sick as a dog, and I'm actually just raring to go now. I think I've had some energy healing since I got online, which is incredible. But Alistair, thanks so much.
You're
and
so
you know,
welcome.
come
Happy
back.
Yeah,
come
absolutely.
back.
I'll be seeing you.
I know Gaurav is going to get your recording created so that you can potentially use some of it for future things, but certainly we will. And anyway, thanks, Alistair. Have you met Tammy, by the way?
Hi, everybody. Hi, Tammy. Nice to see you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Brilliant. Well, I'm going to put your name forward, Alistair, to Tammy for one of her conferences, because you're only in Colorado, and
I've applied.
You know, she's brilliant. That's brilliant. Well, we'll just make sure that, you know, she certainly heard you now, or at least was hear your recording. But anyhow, Alistair, goodbye. Lots of love. Thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, well, that was cool. I like how you did that. I like that. How are you?
Hi, Tammy.
How's it going? I love your background.
Good. How are you? Thank you.
Good. I guess you're introducing me because
I guess so. Thornton disappeared. So we have Tammy Anderson Ward. Take it away.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. The topic that I was given to speak on, and which I'm very excited about, is all about, you know, realigning and getting yourself set up for your goals for the coming year. And one of the things that I love about my life personally is teaching this. So I was thrilled for the opportunity. So I have 30 minutes, and I actually want it to be an action step type class, not something where you're just listening to me lecture. So if you are able to grab either something to jot down notes on, maybe it's your phone so you can, you know, write down notes there, or you want to grab a piece of paper to take notes. Either way, I think would be awesome. I'm all about possibilities. I'm all about like exciting, like planning your next year. And it doesn't have to be the full year. It could just be part of the year. But we're going to go ahead and step into that. Before we begin on 2026, however, what I want to do is look at 2025, and we're still in the energy of 2025. And hi, Token. And so what I'm going to actually have you guys do is start jotting down some of the things that you're most proud of that you personally were able to either overcome or experience or participate in. Now, this can be things that seemingly, they just seem so small to other people. But for you, maybe, you know, it really stood out. I'm going to give you some examples while you're jotting down some of these notes, okay? So the first one is maybe books that you have read or listened to, right? There's Audible and audiobooks and all those kind of things. But you can also count podcasts. You can count classes that you participated in. Maybe you yourself, for your own experience, you went to breath work, or you went to yoga, you went to sound baths. I want you to actually jot those down. What I've learned about energy over the last how many ever years I've been learning about it now, I don't even know. My grandmother was a nurse for 40 years. And when she retired, she actually apprenticed and learned how to do reflexology and a lot of alternative therapies and really actually dove into a lot of energy healing. I know because I inherited her book collection when she graduated on 7/7/07. And so I know what she was studying. anyway, so this is really exciting for me to be able to kind of look back on that and like think about the things that I was taught as a child and then moving forward. And one of those things was that I learned early on was that wherever your attention goes, that's where the energy flows. And so if you've ever heard something like that, oh yeah, like what you pay attention to, it expands, right, into your awareness. So what we're going to do right now for 2025 together is we're going to look at our years, and we're going to go ahead and acknowledge what you were able to accomplish or check off your list or experience. Maybe it could be lessons that you've learned. I had a few things that were not really like on my goal list, right? But they were things that when I look back on 2025, I'm like, you know what? That was actually really, really beneficial for me. I got some major like accomplishment energy from that. You know, maybe you had a difficult conversation with a loved one, or maybe you were able to forgive yourself for a particular experience. Like, these are things that I feel like they need to be acknowledged. So I feel like the momentum also, as you look at that and as you validate that, and you're able to get even more lessons from that, it really does expand and it grows this momentum for the coming year. And so if you'll play with me here just a little bit, I would love to have you go ahead and just jot down some of these things that have really mattered to you. And one thing, if you haven't ever done this before, I'll give you a couple of tips. You can actually look back at your calendar. So let's just start at January of 2025. What were some of the things that were on your calendar? And it will kind of help jog your memory a little bit of some of the things that you maybe had forgotten that you had were able to do. Just for fun, I was looking at 2019. I do this every year. 2019, I took my kids to the Grand Canyon, or my oldest daughters to the Grand Canyon. We did a hot air balloon ride. Yeah, that seems like just like an experience or whatever. Like, somebody may not write that down normally or even include it as part of their list. But for me, I had never had anybody in my family that I ever knew of that went to the Grand Canyon. For me, it was like such a just really beautiful experience, and I wanted to record it. Hot air balloon, I was definitely very afraid of heights at that point. And so to be able to go and experience being able to be lifted up off the earth, it's like actually very a meditative process. You know, it's very slow, and then all of a sudden you're just up, right? So I wrote that down. I took my daughters to the Phoenix Zoo that year. Retreats that I had participated in. I did a half marathon race that year. I put down, I helped a lot of people, you know, like whatever it is that is your intrinsic qualities about you. It's good to acknowledge that. It's good to say, hey, I see that in myself. And then to be able to kind of build up on that. That year I wrote down, I'm still married. It was a really challenging year for my husband and I. And we looked at the end of the year, we chose to look at that as such a huge accomplishment. And so, I mean, but yours could be that you got divorced, and that was a huge thing for you. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's going to be a little bit different. So just go ahead and take some time to just jot down the things that really mattered for you. I wrote down, I took my dad to a Bob Seger concert that year. It was one of the highlights of my whole year. One of my goals for my own health, I know that I am supposed to be gluten-free. I just feel really, really like healthier and overall a lot better when I stay gluten-free. And so I wrote that down on my list for that year. Anyway, you can just put down whatever stands out to you. Could be classes or certifications that you did. Maybe you got so many massages and that was like a really big deal for you because it supported your body. Maybe you've had some chronic pain, and this is a way that you have chosen to support yourself. If you went through your house and got like your cupboards and your drawers and everything's all organized and clean in your home, you know, you could write down, I did this many rooms, or I chose this habit, this quality, and you were able to maintain it. Anyway, you kind of get the point, right? I wanted to spend the first half of today talking about that, because whatever you pay attention to, that's what is going to expand. So we're looking at the lessons that you were able to learn, the experiences, that accomplishment energy, okay? And it could be little things like, you planted a new flower garden in your, yard. Maybe you chose to participate in a new eating plan, and you wanted to add more vegetables to your regular what you eat. Maybe it's to go on a walk every day. Whatever, like, New Year's resolutions that you're setting for yourself in 2026, what I have here for you is that if you look at 2025 through the lens of, I am going to go ahead and pay attention to and validate this, it's just a really powerful thing, because it's going to help those lessons to open up, and it's going to help you plan out your 2026 with so much more ease and grace, because it's going to help you to be able to see what mattered to you in the year prior. So that's just the first thing that I have for you. And just keep in mind that whatever you do pay attention to, that is what is going to grow. So if you're looking at things and you're saying to yourself, well, I didn't accomplish anything, and it was maybe a shit show of a year, or just whatever, well, that's what you're going to be bringing into 2026. So I highly recommend that you don't do that. Instead, you choose to look at all of the benefits and the values that you were able to. Maybe you were more present, right? Maybe you were able to slow down a little bit and watch more sunrises, more sunsets, smell more lilac flowers. I really like lilac flowers. Maybe you were able to, just spend more time with those who really matter to you. But whatever it is in 2025 that was hard, that you were able to overcome, make sure you bring those lessons with you when you're going into 2026. I think that is just so important. Okay, so that is the first part of what I have for you. And that might be something that you table for later, because you're not going to be able to get the whole thing done in just the few moments that we have with each other here. So maybe that's something that you can, schedule into your calendar to do in the coming days. So that you can really give it the attention that it deserves. Okay, the next part of what I have for you is to sync up and activate your aligning frequency. And for that, for me anyway, what that looks like is what I see, what I say, what I hear, and what I feel when they all sync up. That is an activation. And so we're going to talk about this for just a few minutes. What are some of the things that you hope to be able to, have in your life for 2026? You are the author of your own story. You've heard that before, right? Well, if that is the truth, then let's look at a couple of different ways that we can be the author in this. The things that you see. I like to be able to have affirmations and goals written down, because I can see them. In fact, I do have a vision board. I know people talk about that a lot at the beginning of the year, but it really has made such a big difference for me in my life. I've taught all 8 of my children how to do vision boards from the time that they were pretty young. And as they've gotten older, what we've done is we've put together a family vision board success guide. And so when they pull something off of their vision board, we're able to help celebrate them as a family. And that beautiful camaraderie of the people that you love, that support you in your life, as we all rally each other, together, working toward each other, with each other, believing in each other, being there to support each other and celebrate each other. And if you don't have 8 kids, dude, I get it. Not everybody has a ton of people around them all the time. So being willing to be that support person for yourself is something else that you can really do. And there's so many different ways to do that. We'll talk about a few of them here. But a vision board is not something that you just put pictures up and then you leave it. my vision board is actually like a bulletin board, so I can take things off of it and add to it throughout the whole year. It's not something that I just make at the beginning of the year and then never look at it again. I want it to be this like living, breathing activity, you know, that I do all the time. And so what I do is, and, you know, I make sure I'm aligned with the things that are on there. If it doesn't feel good, I take them off. There's no shame. There's no guilt. There's no, you know, feelings of defeat or anything. I just pull it off. It's not a big deal. I just take it off. And then I just make sure that everything on my vision board feels really good and it feels aligned with what I want moving forward in the coming year. And if there's some reason why maybe something doesn't feel good, I just take it off. No big deal. I've had going to Costa Rica, the land there, for a healing for myself, many times over the years, and I've always pulled it off. And every once in a while, I'll put it back on again just to see how it feels. And then I've taken it off a few times, but I'm actually going in about 30 days. But the cool thing is like I don't look at that as like a failure or a negative connotation at all in my life. I just look at it as it wasn't aligned right then. I tried it on. It didn't quite feel good right then. So I took it off. And then I went ahead and put it back on when the time was right again. And so those are just a few tips to just help move you forward with that. Vision boards can be really powerful in the way that you can put things on there that are non-physical as well. Maybe you want to read so many books, or you want to do things for your health. Maybe you want to have a relationship or improve a relationship that you already have. I feel like the vision board can be used for many of those things. And I don't look at mine every day for like an hour or 2 hours or anything like that. I have it next to my bed and I look at it often, but it's not something that I use as a tool for shame for myself. I use it as a tool to kind of move me forward and move that momentum. So that is the seeing part, right? Having a vision board, having affirmations with your goals written out. Now let's talk about the saying part. What you say to yourself really matters. So if you're saying that you want to have certain goals, but then you are belittling yourself or talking down to yourself or even to others, your energy feels it, right? It's like your cells are literally listening. They're standing at salute for your voice. Your voice is the most important voice in the entire universe to you. It matches the frequency of your subconscious voice. It literally has your own signature flowing out of you. So when you say things that are in contradiction with your New Year's resolutions, it is stifling that energy. It can cause this disruption instead of the easy flow. So what I want you to think of is what you say really matters. And one thing that you can do, a lot of us have the phones nowadays where you can have voice recorders and memo apps, things like that, right into your phone. And you can record yourself in first person, present tense, positive. You can record yourself as if it's already happened, speaking as if it's already into existence. And then that's not just the saying, but it's also the hearing. So see, say, hear, feel. So they're all aligned. So you're seeing it in the vision board. I'm going to go ahead and recap this. You're seeing it in the vision board. You're seeing it in the affirmations that you have written out. You are saying it out loud. You can do those in the shower as you're getting ready for the day. You could have a list that you kind of tally off. You could also have them already pre-recorded and then you just push play each morning. And I like to do it when I'm still in the theta state. So as soon as I'm waking up, you can either set it as your alarm or you can push play automatically as part of your own action steps in the morning. And then you're hearing things that are so powerful, hearing things that really matter, being around supportive people, doing intentional thought training, right? Like audiobooks and supportive music that's going to really support you with your goals. And then, of course, what you feel. And all of the feeling part of it you can apply to the other tools. So when you see your vision board, how does it make you feel? Well, when I go to my vision board, I don't look at it and say, these are my action steps. These are the things I'm doing. Instead, I choose to look at it, put my hand on my heart, and feel gratitude as if those things are already into existence. They're already happening. And I feel gratitude for them. That feeling of gratitude is like kind of like a magic emotion, energy in motion, right? So if you think about adding the feeling component to each one of these, it's going to make a big difference. So when you say it, feel the gratitude. When you hear it, feel the gratitude. Don't hear it and go, oh, I hate the sound of my voice, or, just tune it out. Instead, really feel it. All right. So I've got 10 more minutes. And what I'd love to do right now is I want to share some tools and some different things that you can use to support you in these different things. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have you guys go ahead and write down my email. Okay, you ready for this? It's Tammy, Tammy, and then the @ symbol, Hope, HOPE, Haven, HAVEN, and then events with an S.com. And if you do any one of these things over the next few weeks, I'd love to have you email me and just report back and let me know how these worked for you. Was there one thing that was a little bit easier for you? Was there one thing that was really challenging? It was a difficult thing for you to do? It could be any one of these things. I'd love to offer some mentoring to you simply by sending me an email and letting me know how this kind of panned out for you. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say my email once more, just in case you didn't have something handy or you missed a letter, okay? It's Tammy, Tammy, at Hope, HOPE, Haven, HAVEN, and then events with an S.com. One of my passions is helping people overcome some of these hurdles that they might have. And when I do the recording, just so you know, when I have the recording going, I record it with music in the background. Music in the background helps you to download it into your subconscious frequency that much more. And if you use binaural beats or frequency music that is set to a certain frequency, that's set around what you're wanting to have happen there, that can be a really, really big deal. So I personally love, I just look up on YouTube or another app like Spotify or something, epic emotional music or instrumental healing music. You can find a specific frequency, like around abundance. Maybe you have a money goal that you want to bring in more money or more abundance into your circle of influence so you can help more people, or whatever the case may be. When you are having music recorded in the background, it can be really, really that much more powerful. Now there's all these AI things out there. I know people are oftentimes really afraid of AI, but I choose to use it in a way that is really going to help support me. So maybe right now you're looking at your 2026 New Year's resolutions and you don't really know what to put down. You can just use AI as a tool to be able to say, okay, what are some ideas as a 46-year-old woman, that's me, going into, 2026. You can even put in like your human design, your birthday, your birth location, your, all of the things, and say, based off of numerology or based off of astrology or whatever you choose to follow, the gene keys or whatever it may be, what are some, really awesome action steps that could be helpful for me in 2026. That doesn't mean that you have to do any of those things, but it just kind of helps open up your mind and gives you even more options, So that's just another tip that you can use. Spotify is where I do go for my music. You can follow me there. Just look up Tammy Ward 111, and then you'll be able to see all of my playlists. I actively also do breath work, and I feel like slowing down your nervous system brings you into elevated states of consciousness, which will help open up your mind to the other things we've talked about: seeing, saying, hearing, and feeling. Couple all of that with the accomplishment energy from 2025 moving forward, and that is a powerful activation for alignment. So I would love to go ahead and have anybody else that's backstage come on, ask any questions to kind of do a follow-up. I'd love to continue this conversation with anybody else also who would like to go ahead and email me, let me know how that worked out for them. My name is Tammy Anderson Ward again. I've been producing the Energy Healing Conferences since 2014. We've done well over 100 of them. I love being able to put retreats together for people all over the world. And I am just so honored to be a part of this community. I want to say thank you for Dr. Thornton Streeter for the opportunity to be able to come on today. And thank you so much.
Oh, Tammy, you're so brilliant. It's so funny because you keep it so simple and yet it's so powerful. And I'm sure all of us who've listened to these little chapters that you and Alistair and Kelmie have been laying down for us, that, you know, we've really got this kind of access within us. And you spoke of saying and feeling and exploring the different ways of experiencing. And Alistair spoke to immersing ourselves in color and taste and the sort of essence in another way. And these feel like really kind of fundamental guidance systems, you know, which are going to be really useful moving forward in this kind of crazy times. So yeah, I mean, you say you're thankful, we're incredibly thankful for you as well. And it's such an important gateway, this, because this is an online community, energy medicine exchange, but your community is very much on the ground. And as you said, you've organized hundreds of conferences and thousands of people show up at them. And it's partly because there's no barrier to entry. You know, everyone just comes and they get what they need. And if there's business at the end of it, so be it. But that ethos of kind of the barter bank rather than chase Manhattan, you know, this sense where we just need to hold space for people to be themselves and explore what they need. I find this incredibly inspiring and also relevant. And you started speaking about this sort of list. And I immediately thought, oh, wow, she's talking about a treasure map. And then you said a vision board. And that's such a beautiful tool, which I guess, you know, a lot of us put down like our diaries, you know, when we're teenagers and we just sort of stop doing that kind of thing. But clearly it's a very powerful tool, because what you also alluded to is this concept of actually just spelling things out and writing them down and then assessing how and what you're saying. And so these are these two magical expressions of consciousness through the human being. You know, people talk about the spelling of a word is the same as the spelling in magic, you know. And so if we can create our own white magic all the time and therefore you know, take that scenic route, you know, that we're all on, and enjoy it and be present for it. But you also alluded to using breath work as an access to a kind of higher sensory perception. And I feel this is the greatest bridge of all for all of us. You know, can we light the path for others to cross that bridge, to access their own extrasensory perception? And you have given us some tools to do that and to question ourselves and to allow for our higher self to be driving the vehicle, not just the kind of the body version of the human doing version that so many of us get drawn into. And the other thing you haven't done, is you haven't talked about, the woes of the world and, what's not right. You've just brilliantly said, no, this is an individual thing. It doesn't matter whether you can go to Costa Rica or not. That's not relevant. What matters is that you forge this living pot, that's this chalice, if you like, that is yourself. And if it doesn't fit that current version of self, then it just falls aside. And again, that's so empowering, and it's future proof, because we are all kind of canned in our own individual space often, and to be able to tap into these infinite processes, I find really, really useful. And I guess what we're hearing from you is not just hundreds of conferences, but thousands of hours of listening to people who teach different energy healing techniques. And you've said, hang on a minute, let's strip it all back to, in the same way that Kelmie was sharing with us, we need to be grounded, we got to be grounded.
I had to say, okay, I have 30 minutes to teach about what really, really has been impactful for me around New Year's resolutions. And I actually, even though these seem super simple with see, say, hear, feel, they are actually very powerful. And they're all absolutely based with energy medicine. If you think about the energy of these, and you can totally bring in other modalities. You could do Reiki for yourself while you're doing your vision board.
Right.
You can go ahead, and anything that you're already doing, you can use it to complement each one of these. So yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. I personally, I grew up, in a very broken home. I moved around a ton. I could sit here all day long and tell you all the things that have happened to me. But that's not really what I want to do, because whatever you focus on, that is literally going to be what propels the next, phase, the next chapter of your life. So do you want to focus on that? No, you absolutely don't. You want to focus on possibilities and what you're wanting to step into, and that goes for the whole world, So anyway, thank you so much for the chance today. Appreciate it.
Not at all, Tammy, but I think you did a good job of telling people how to find you. Tammy Ward 111 on Spotify, was it?
Yeah, that's the Spotify.
And you gave us your email at Hope Haven, and I'm sure those will all be accessible as well. And the other thing, of course, is that you're a famous person, so people can just look you up on the internet, and there you are on some TV interview, showing the world that energy healing is a really sensible way to go forward. So brilliant to you as well. And I'm in Europe at the moment. I'm going to be here for a while, but next time I come back to America, I'll let you know, so we can see each other in person again.
That sounds awesome. All right, well, thank you so much. Excited to watch the rest of the event. Okay, take care.
Bye, Tammy. God bless you. Bye. Lots of love.
Okay.
So now it's my pleasure to introduce Lilia, who is another inspiring woman from the Glens. Tammy's from Utah, one of the most beautiful states in America, and Lilia's from Scotland. And I've actually been on a bit of a deep dive into Scotland the last couple of days myself, exploring the Holy Islands, and it's been really beautiful. I'm talking about, online. I didn't go on a road trip, but Lilia is up there. And whenever I see her post, she's swimming in a loch or really kind of immersing herself in nature. But she's just not just doing it on her own. She's leading a group of people, and they're not just people. These are people who've accepted her challenge to find peace and healing, often from a very dark place or a very unwell place, often, almost coming out the other side of modern medicine, and it's not worked. So I really embrace her bravery. I embrace who she is. I embrace that she herself, as a little warrior, is taking on this mantle of healing her entire country, heal Scotland. I mean, to me, that is just one of the most inspiring and beautiful expressions of devotion. We're all born somewhere. We're all born at a certain time for a certain reason. And then here we are showing up. And here's Lilia doing that in the most beautiful way. And I can't repeat or clarify the concern of this kind of crushing of alternative medicine techniques. I mean, the NHS used to make homeopathics available. Now it's kind of seen as quackery. So people like Lilia are actually giving a genuine alternative. And they're also, speaking to the choir, because the people in each country have been through a very dark age of medicine. And we really are coming out the other side. And I really look forward to a more integrated, functional approach, because that's what we all deserve. So it's with these really serious issues in mind that I hand the microphone over to my colleague Lilia, who's there up in Scotland. I think she's with her grandchildren today, so she recorded this last night, but it's no less live, I can assure you, than if she was here with me now. It's really a fabulous platform that we can invite some people together, and we can still all show up, hook or by crook, whatever's required. And so I certainly honor that. And if there are any questions for Lilia afterwards, I would encourage you to add them in one of the chat boxes of the viewing platform you're on, whether it's YouTube or energymedicineexchange.com or in StreamYard or whatever it is, however you're looking at this, in Facebook. But I'm thrilled. Coming up. Are you ready?
Good day, everybody, and I would like to thank Thornton very much for inviting me to speak here. My name is Lilia Sinclair. I'm the founder of the Heal Scotland movement, a movement designed to educate, inspire and support the people of Scotland back to greater levels of health. We have one of the worst health pictures in the world, and the plan is to turn that to one of the best through education, inspiration and support. So we are primarily an online events company right now, but we're about to open Scotland's first healing and education oasis in the Bridge of Weir, Quarriers Village in Bridge of Weir. It's a health hub which is going to be using all the biotherapies that we have available, including the Biofield viewer, to help and assist people understand the body better and how to increase the flow, the brightness and the lightness, and how to let go of all the old blockages and outdated information. So we're setting out to open an academy, which will open at the beginning of April, to teach people, bring people in from all over the country and teach them the new way to see the body, because we believe this is really what's at the heart of it. We've been terrified of our own bodies, and that means that we can be sold things and we can be told things that may not be strictly accurate and will not benefit us. So with the Biofield viewer, we are able to obviously look at the brightness, the lightness and the flow of information, light, sound and colour going through the body. We also use the Quest 9 biofeedback system. We also use the Neurovisor. We also use the Genius Insight app. We use PEMF pulsed electromagnetic frequencies. We have 3 amp coils, and we have another PEMF machine, mats, and again, devices that can take the biofeedback therapy laser focused into the body. We use red light, and we use UVB and near and far infrared. So we're really mimicking nature to work on the energetic side of the body. Now, the main thing, the reason that I found Thornton was in my bid to educate people on the invisible part of the body, the electromagnetic side, the metaphysical side, what's going on in and around us that cannot be measured by Western allopathic methods. And I was Googling on YouTube and I found the Biofield viewer and I was very excited. And I'm delighted at last that we're going to have a place to actually set it up and be able to use it as a device to help people see the progress that they're making and that the biofield therapies can help them to make. And we don't diagnose, obviously, but we can definitely see where more energy is needed, where energy is getting stuck, be that on a physical or an emotional level. And it can help the client, as all biofeedbacks do, to see what's happening in their body. And they are a very active part, obviously, of the process, because we have, at the new Health Hub, we have oxygen. We have a walking version where you can exercise on the treadmill and take in pure, 95% oxygen. We also have the HBOT. And with that and the Theralite, the red light therapies and the PEMF, we are seeing just phenomenal results. And especially for the people that have been left with the gap in the market, the chronically sick. Personally, I usually work with women, but not always women, who have been diagnosed terminal or incurable. And we've been looking for a long time to educate and to have a place where people can come. I don't know where you guys all are in the world, but certainly in the UK, if you get sick, there is one place you go, and that's the doctor and the hospitals. And your only options there, obviously, are drugs and surgery. And we're in a mission to educate people and inspire them about the incredible intelligence that the body is. And with these biotherapies, we can really charge the cells, a cellular transformation. And that will be very often almost instant for the client. They will feel something in one session. And for people that have been sick for a long time, that's really important because they've lost faith. Very often they've been gaslit along the way. The tests are all showing normal, and it's kind of insinuated that it's all in your head and that maybe you just need to try harder. And I'm sure you're all seeing it, levels of chronic fatigue, unprecedented levels of chronic fatigue, body pains and aches, vertigo, balance issues, and eyesight and hearing. Put all these things together and it leaves you fairly disabled for work. And in Scotland, we have over a third of our population, working population, unable to work at this time. Now, contrary to what the government would make you believe, that's rarely their fault. We know that over the last 5 years, medications have gone up and have caused havoc in a lot of our immune systems. And the other thing I think that we miss out on is the collective, how we infect and affect each other at a collective level. So if your average wealth is that of your 7 closest friends, your average health is very likely to be that way too. So being well and staying positive and focused in an environment where so many people are sick, anxious and depressed can be a massive challenge. And from my perspective, started off as a personal trainer, a nutritionist, and realized very quickly that if you can tell people what to eat, but they don't eat it. You can tell people what not to eat, and they do eat it. And exercise is one of these things that can come in fits and starts. You start off very motivated, and then you get busy or you get tired. So fixing Scotland's health picture with diet and exercise alone was never going to be a way. So now with this new way to see the body, and most people are fascinated by the Biofield viewer because at some level, I think the body understands, right? I am much more than just this physical system with organs. We're really looking at this entire intelligence, the fascia, the fascination that I have for the fascia and how it holds the body together and how fast the information travels through it and what lies there and how it connects to different data streams of information is absolutely fascinating. So our mission is really to educate people on the electromagnetic side of the body without making it seem very woo-woo. Most people have seen Kirlian photography now, and so when you show them the Biofield viewer, if the lighting is accurate, you can really start to ask questions and really investigate what's going on in somebody's energy system. And using these words, flow, light, energy, and inhibition of flow. And I teach people to let go. That's my middle name, Lilia, let it go, Sinclair. So when how the talk therapies, breath work, cold water, forest bathing, all of being in nature, as we know, ingesting her medicines and her plants, all of that can go to help make this energy system that is nature interact with the external energy system. And how can we inspire people, if you're looking like me, to turn the trajectory of a whole country round? How can we do that if people are not willing to change their diet or even change it a little bit? So what we're looking at now with the oxygen and the PEMF and the red light is it's almost as if we're just being given the body enough energy to help it over the hill, and people are starting to feel considerably better in quite a short space of time, usually 2 to 3 weeks. And then what we can add in then is the Scotland's Wild Medicines prescription. That's the book that I co-wrote with my friend who's a medical herbalist, Scotland's Wild Medicine. And I always say it's wild because it's free and it's wild because nobody really knows about it. The power of being in the forest, the power of eating. I mean, why are we even calling it organic food, natural food? We should be calling the pesticide, processed stuff a different name. But if we eat the food the way Mother Nature gave it to us, if we live within the laws of nature, a lot of our health issues would not exist. And how are we using these biotherapies in this new world, this new way of seeing the body as this magnificent energy system that is not only influenced by nature and the external world, but by our thoughts and our feelings, our beliefs and our perceptions in our internal world. And I'm sure most people that are listening to this understand the power within us. It's all about our perception. What are we seeing when we look out? Do we see, are we hope-filled? Are we filled with love? Are we absolutely positive that there's a solution to all of our problems? And what are we prepared to do in order to reconnect to nature, where at Heal Scotland and Scotland's Wild Medicine, we believe holds all the keys. So we want to combine these latest biotherapies, and then we want to look at nature outside. How can we get into nature? The birds song, the smells, the colours, the 528, the far infrared, that the leaves hold, the phytoncides that come from the trees, the positive and negative ions that come from the waterfalls and the sea, and how the body can really energize the natural light, affecting the pineal gland and literally giving the body energy. So there's so many incredible ways to get wild medicine. Scotland and the rest of the world, of course, too. But then we're thinking about, what are we thinking? What are we feeling? How are our relationships? What's our perception like? And, you know, a lot of that can come from the family we've been brought up in, and the country and the culture. Some of us are a lot luckier in what we've chosen to come into than others. But we still know that, especially at this time of this shift in consciousness, that we can actively start thinking of the best case scenario rather than the worst case scenario. And in the allopathic system, certainly the people that come to me, they have been usually terrified of their own body and what it's doing based on a photograph of a snapshot in time. So this new Health Hub Healing Oasis that we're going to have, we're going to introduce people to the Biofield viewer so that they can see that we're much, much more than this meat suit. How that oxygen and PEM and red light affects the cells, and how you can recreate that in nature for free, because we all know we can get very excited and motivated about healing, and then we can get fed up, or maybe one day we're not feeling so good, so we give up. There is also a cost attached to what we do at the hub. We have obviously it's state-of-the-art equipment, bills have to get paid, let's not kid on. They don't. So how we're going to subsidise the people who want to heal, who are willing to make changes. Because even if we have a client with us for 5 hours, it still means that for 23 days and 19 hours, they're on their own. What are they doing then? So we're going to be putting people into groups online. We have an online community that's gatekept, so people can't, YouTube, etc., can't take our content down. And then we're going to have our own communities and address social issues at the hub and bring people together to help people. Similar idea to the AA model. You know, we've lots of people now using all these different parasite cleanses, biotherapies, diets, etc., in order to turn their health picture around. So why are we not sharing that information? I'm pretty sure everybody that's watching this, you know that there is no one size fits all. There is no one exact recipe, because people want to know, what do I do? How do I do it? How much do I do? When do I do it? All of these questions, because we've completely lost faith in our intuition and our inner intelligence. And that's something, again, that we're really, really desperately keen to teach at our workshops, is that your body knows what's best for you. And when you can drop inside, meditate, be mindful, you will get the answers. You will know that inner knowing, that innate intelligence. But we create a relationship with it, like any other relationship that's of value in our lives. We have to really listen, and we have to pay attention and communicate openly and honestly with this inner voice, intuition, whatever you want to call it, the innate intelligence within every one of us. And when we are in this state of expansion and relaxation, the weather's incredible in Scotland right now, cold but sunny and light and bright, and you go out and it's just the air's clean and fresh and the birds are singing and it's just beautiful. And you automatically, it's bright blue sky, you just feel better. You feel more relaxed. We all know that when we reconnect to nature, whether it's a sunset, a sunrise, that it just, we can feel it. When we see a bowl of amazing foraged leaves and fruits and berries, the body just lights up. The body knows. But the problem is, well, a lot of medications, they dull down your feelings. Maybe you're really busy, maybe you're really stressed and anxious, maybe you've got microbiome issues. Again, with the technology now that we have, we can look in and ask the body what's going on in here, and then we can come up with the solutions. And the idea with putting people together is that the people can help people, because we have to take the wealth out of health. In Scotland, we've got the worst drug deaths, highest suicide rates, cancer rates. There's not enough doctors and healers in the world. We need to teach the people how to fish and need to learn about their own body. And we can do this. So you can take a photo of yourself and you can put it into the technology and see how you're doing, and making sure that your relationships, the people that you're with, bring out the best in you and not the worst, because that is maybe one of the most powerful ways to feel good or bad, is who you're hanging out with. And then obviously we look at diet, we look at food as medicine, and the vibration of the food and the light that's in the food. And is it poisoned, or is it the way God gave it to us? Our water. And we're now understanding, obviously, thanks to the new technology and to the Biofield viewer, we can see when things start to move, symmetry appears, the colours get lighter and brighter, and literally the body's getting charged at this cellular level. This transformation is taking place. But like any change, we have to sustain it. And that's possibly the most important part to this. You still have to sustain the changes. You keep on keeping on until the body believes, right, this is the way we're meant to be now. So when we have other people in our tribe all doing the good stuff, all really meditating, thinking about the best case scenarios, coming up with solutions, then we can all support and help each other to keep our vibration, our light up. That is the way that we are going to change the world, and we're going to co-create the new story, the new earth. And Thank you for all
Hi, everybody.
using.
Thanks so much for sitting through that rather glitchy presentation by Lilia. I do apologize. That was quite painful, actually. I think the issue is just trying to play a video through the same Indian bandwidth that Gareth has shown a glitch, and just running the studio as well. So I'm afraid it's just one of those things we're going to have to take on the chin. And I mean, actually, Lilia was talking about so many different things then, and we certainly will make sure that the version that is now available of her presentation is not that glitchy version. That's just because it was being played. But I didn't realize that she was going to set me up so beautifully for my presentation. And I'm happy that, yeah, we don't have that same glitchy problem when we're speaking live. So I can introduce my colleague, John, without fear of being strangled by the technology. Hi, John. How are you doing this afternoon?
Very good, thanks. I hope you can hear me. Yes.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you jumping on, because one of the things that we're going to do in our time slot is give all of our visitors, all of our listeners, all of our friends, all of the people who are accepting our health challenge access to our app. And along with that, obviously, we want to guide people how to use it. Fortunately, Lilia mentioned several times in her presentation that she uses the Biofield viewer. So I wasn't expecting that, but it's brilliant, because I'm sure everyone who hasn't come across this technology will, appreciate the offer that we're giving them, but also just a basic interest in what on earth that might be. She mentioned lots of other bioenergetic devices, and I think one of the things that's important is that there are centers all over the world where you can access, wonderful healing tools. Kelmie was speaking earlier that they really don't need to be expensive. And, she came out with her spoon, and I just thought that was absolutely wonderful, because, clearly there's all kinds of assessment techniques, John. Have you ever tried muscle testing?
Yes, the kinesiology where you hold your arm up and testing.
Right. Well, I mean,
well.
exactly. But she was alluding to a sort of technique which very much is a self-assessment. And I've seen all kinds of people demonstrate the muscle testing, but to take it, to the self-testing, I think that's brilliant. And I think that's what we're doing with our technology, is giving people the opportunity to self-test. And that means they can maybe try a healing modality, but they don't necessarily need to know too much about it. They can just see whether it suits them or not.
Yes, you can just see, literally.
Yeah. And so that's really the process that I'm going to go through. The first thing I'm going to do, John, I don't know what's going to happen to us. I think we're both going to, I'm going to share my screen. I want to share a window. Crikey, let's see how this works. That's what I want to share, my slides. Probably that's going to be, let's see, is that? And there's Roscoe barking at the cat. Okay, so first thing, can you see my deck of slides there, or have I got to choose that? Yeah, I've got to choose that. I've got to jump in there and then share. And then I got to pick the slide that I want, haven't I?
Yeah, we have slides.
And so you can see my slides, can you, John?
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
And if I press play, then there's just the slides.
Yeah, and we're on the side. Yeah.
Okay, so
Oh, it's full screen. Yeah.
So ultimately, what I want to suggest that you and I are doing is what this slide is suggesting, that there are two ways of looking at the human body. All the speakers today will certainly, much of the discussion has been about our energetic body. Alistair was talking about the internal meridians, and then how they loop out to be the sort of external edge of the being, the self, and how being conscious of this makes us more aware of who we really are. And I just find that this sort of hidden science, this taboo science, is something that really has marked that dark age where only allopathic medicine was acceptable. And so, ultimately, I just think it's really exciting we do what we do, because as this image shows, we're used to seeing, all the details. We're not used to just seeing the body, historically, and in all forms. When someone painted someone else, they tended to paint someone, impressive, and those impressive people are all the ones who have optimized energy fields. I mean, that's the pattern we're seeing through history and through culture, whatever culture it is. But what you and I are doing is making this energy visible. Was it? Yes, I think it was Tammy, but it could have been Lilia mentioned Kirlian photography. This is a sort of weird Kirlian photograph, because what we're effectively seeing is the bioplasma that is emitted from the body, but we're only seeing it at the fingertip, not everywhere, because there's a charged plate beneath the fingertip, and that charged plate is allowing the plasma to be illuminated in the same way that when we turn the light on, the electricity makes that gas light up, what we call a bulb. John, you and I have been excited about this for 40 years.
Yes. Well, it works. It's so well tested and so well followed now. Yes.
Yeah, and so it's a responsibility for us to kind of make this anatomy and physiology accessible. It can't be taboo, and if it is, then we got to go round the back and do what Alistair was doing. Get on the app called School and teach the basics, and keep teaching the basics. And there's hundreds of people, luckily, that teach the basics. So what do we got to do? We've got to do what we do, which is share our simple technology in its current form, which is a professional version for clinics who want to do whatever they want with it in a clinical environment, and then with the general public who just want to see their own energy fields. And I think it's a breakthrough technology. And not only am I excited that you as a programmer have been able to ride that wave as technology developed, but also software not only became more complex and allowed us to do more wonderful things, but also became more sort of proprietary. And we had to ride these kind of Microsoft waves that almost wanted to stop us doing what we do. But because you're so brilliant, you managed to ride that wave, and I want to honor you.
Now we support all platforms. It works in a browser, and it'll work on a tablet or a phone as well. Yeah.
You're so modest. I love that about you, John. But anyway, why don't we show a couple of pictures, what people are going to see when they hold their phone out in front of themselves. They've got two modes, the one on the left, the right, which they can see themselves a bit more clearly, is Biofield Viewer. We call it Soul Mirror. And clearly, with the right lighting, there's areas which catch your eye. We call it the focal point. And we've taught this for how many years, John?
I've lost count.
Probably 30 at least.
Yes.
Because your first version of this software was on a BBC Archimedes computer.
Yes. 1980s technology, that was.
Yeah. And so, you know, yeah, 45 years ago, this
I think we're
technology.
across 5 decades. It's amazing.
But why do you
I think we
think
have a world
everybody,
record. I think we have a world record for this.
but why do you think everybody doesn't know about it?
I don't know. I don't know. We've left it to the angels and the spirits to sort of guide it, really. And it's, I think more people than we realize are aware of it, because everyone who has it has shared it with hundreds or thousands of people. So actually, there's probably an enormous number of people that have used it.
Right.
But
Right. Well,
it's not-
maybe I'm just being sort of funny, because I always feel like we could do more, and that
Yes, of course.
whenever I meet people, they go, "Oh, I haven't seen that," and I go, "Well,
We're
here it
trying
is."
to make it easy for people to
Yeah.
be involved. Yeah.
Yeah, accessible. I think that's maybe the key thing of this resolution conference, is making
Yeah.
things really accessible, and there isn't this sort of needing to sign up and farm off your data. You can just kind of do something. But here, what we're seeing in these two pictures, just because this is a random slide I'm showing, this image is showing effectively the shielding, and I know someone's used that word, I think it was Alistair, that we do to ourselves when we're experiencing a sort of disequilibrium, whether that's emotionally or physically. And so in kind of energy medicine speak, you could say this guy's got congestion in his brow chakra, and also clearly there's something going on in his throat as well, although we are seeing that lovely kind of blue in there, but there's a whole load of pink around it. So as I make an assessment or teach someone how to interpret in an image, that ring all the way around the throat chakra often speaks to someone not feeling heard, which is very different from not speaking their truth. And so because of this small detail, I can say to this young man, "Do you feel heard?" And he can say, "No, I don't." Or, "Yeah, I do." But it allows a discussion about something that's showing up in their field, which wouldn't be showing up in their field if it wasn't an issue. So it's a very real-time process, this, and it's completely bizarrely very intimate. You know, this isn't an X-ray or an MRI. This is somebody looking at themselves on the phone. And even, to be honest, they have no idea what they're looking at. If they just save that picture and do the same thing again the next day and the next day, and if it stays the same, that's significant. But if they've made choices like, you know, I'm actually going to go to the gym every day this week, and I'm going to use this app to monitor whether I respond to it. That's what my challenge is in this healing challenge, is use our app alongside the advice that Alistair and Tammy and Token is going to, and Lilia and obviously Donna and David are going to give us, and monitor it yourself. So this becomes not just a self-healing challenge, but a self-guided self-healing challenge. Because if the pattern that I'm looking at now, if that was me, becomes more pink and more pooling and less symmetrical, I'd probably stop doing that thing and go do something else. But if I see these pink pooling areas shrinking and a real sense, and when I say sense, I really mean this, John. You know, for 30 years, 45 years, as you said, since that first BBC Archimedes, you were making fractal programs and making this software. Since that day, we've never had any controls on our imaging. We've never had a little wheel on the side, which means, hey, you're good, hey, you're bad, or, you know, you're up, you're down, or, you know, this means that, because, and we didn't know why. I didn't know why. I spent ages getting frustrated about it, that it wasn't something that we were working on, and it was felt like it was almost being held back. And then a few years ago, I had an epiphany, and it has to be an epiphany because there's no other way to describe it. It was this total sense that not having a legend, not having a little sidebar of advice or kind of controls, meant that when we see the image of ourselves, we know what it means, because we're now also triggering this higher sensory perception about ourselves just by seeing something that has been hidden from us or taught out of us, even to the sense that we can't even see it anymore. I mean, this technology is digital clairvoyance. Clairvoyance means clear seeing. So if people aren't seeing clearly, why is that? Is it because I sat in a classroom for 15 years and had to look at the desk and then at the blackboard and then at the desk and then at the blackboard and then at the desk and then at the whiteboard, and not really ever go beyond this focus range? I mean, is it that simple that school programs us into not seeing but looking? You know, I feel that. And I feel that this particular tool that you and I have developed allows people to go back in time to a pre-chatter state and see themselves as they really are. And it's a personal experience. And that's why this app is so important, because there isn't even someone else in the room. There isn't even someone else interpreting it. There'll be people available like me and like yourself to help you interpret it. There's loads of videos on YouTube people can watch what each of these different features that are possibly going to show up in their field. For example, notice this guy on his left cheek has a pink patch, but he doesn't have it on his right cheek. You may not have noticed that before because the throat and the brow were more interesting or caught our eye more, but that is significant. And it probably means, and I say probably, it probably means that the guy's got a broken tooth in there, because it's showing up in the biofield, which is on the left-hand side and relates to the physical systems of the body, like the skeletal system in this case, or the respiratory system, but not from a medical perspective, God forbid, from an energetic perspective. So this is an E-ray that I train others to read, E-rays. And now I trust people with all of the training that's out there, with 100 monkey morphogenic resonance. I trust people to be able to tap into this untaboo awareness that it's good to use something like a mirror. When I go out, I look at myself in the mirror, I may adjust my hair, I may, wipe the chocolate off my mouth, and I use it to optimize my appearance in that moment. And I'm suggesting we do the same thing, but not just from a mirror perspective of the physical reflection, but from this perspective where we see the biofield. So it becomes a biofield mirror, or the aura. Don't misunderstand when you're listening to this presentation what we're talking about. We're talking about that part of the self which makes a body a being. Human bodies, dead bodies, don't have chakras and biofields. That all shrinks away and disappears. But the body has kidneys and liver and all these different functional components which operate together in the machinery we call the human body. But the human being is so much more than that. And it's why people today, even today, neuroscientists cannot answer the simple question, what is consciousness? Because they don't know. They're still looking in the brain. They're still looking in the can for the beans, because we've been so programmed with this materialistic perspective, this anthroposophically materialistic perspective. Whereas in fact, we can just witness ourselves optimizing. And that really isn't a small thing. This technology is not a small thing. And John and I have gatekeeped it pretty well, that it's still available, and now widely available, freely available. You can take the codes from this presentation, which John and I are going to share with you, and share them with whoever you like. You can share them with 1 million people. We want people to have the experience of self-guided self-healing. And that's our perspective on what is a 2026 new technology era self-healing challenge. Because otherwise, how do you know what's working? If you've got real-time response from an independent source that's mirroring your absorption and digestion and processing of a process, that to me is where we're at in the 21st century. Would you agree, John?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to add about what we're doing here?
No, we're just blessed to be involved and very lucky to be doing this, really, as an activity. It's a joy to be involved in this.
Yeah, I agree. So, for example, I've changed the slide. Let's talk about this guy. If your picture shows up like this, then this is the challenge. How do you brighten that image? How do you get more symmetry in that image? That's what I'm challenging you to do, because symmetry and brightness are the two scientific perspectives that relate to healing working. And what I mean by that is, if we look at this guy's image, his symmetry is pretty good. If I drew a line down the center of him, his symmetry is really pretty good. If I folded him over, there's not many patterns that wouldn't match. Even his jaw, his throat, all the areas that are showing up, except perhaps in his midriff. There's quite a congested area, we would call it, where he's shielding on the right-hand side of his belly, but on the left-hand side, there's clearly this sort of bright green sticking out of that. Would you agree, John, just catching our eyes? And his eyes, his left eye as opposed to his right eye is asymmetrical.
Yes, the image doesn't just, it's not just an image, it's communicating with us, and you go with what you feel is, what you see is most important in the image.
Right. So, for example, because I know as a energy medicine practitioner that the midriff is all about relationships, right? So where his belly button is, it's all going to be telling me about relationships. The first question I could ask him personally is, how is the relationship with your father? Not how was your journey here, or where's pain, or how are you feeling? No. First question, how is the relationship with your father? Right? That's my first question based on this image. And you may ask why. And I'm explaining because that lower midriff region relates to relationships. And because he's got a lot of shielding on his father's side, it means he's blocking his father's energy. And that isn't serving him. It may be relevant to put a shield up when you're in battle to stop coming at you with the sword, but to do it all the time, it means you're going to be misunderstood in your office as well, in your workspace. So it's not a healthy equilibrium to be holding. So that's what this is from this example, what we're learning from an energy medicine or healing perspective, that we have the tools to change. We have the tools to digest trauma and optimize. Instead of holding trauma out like a whole load of dead flies on a spider's web, we can digest our traumas and use the fuel to optimize. But if we keep holding on to those traumas, my dad was mean to me when I was a kid, we ain't ever gonna, grow up. That's what this picture is saying. So that's a journey for someone to go on, but it's also saying to the man, oh wow, this is a challenge. You could brighten your energy field and optimize your energy field. Right. So everyone's different, John, isn't they? Aren't they? Every single person is different. In this guy, the focal point is clearly what it's saying, the solar plexus region. So that's different from his the guy before. I was talking a bit here about grounding And this is how we, using the Biofield. So someone who's got a phone, you know, this is, I don't want any Houdinis pulling muscles here. You're going to need to set the self timer and put it on a tripod and such like. But, you know, our technology is super versatile. And if someone wants to explore the actual act of healing and learn what healing is, we can see it. And here, for example, as I mentioned, there's two things that happen. The first thing is a resolution of symmetry and symmetry issues. Bearing in mind what we're seeing below her elbow is shadow. It's not the girl. The girl is breathing.
Okay, so now we're looking into
The healer's doing what she's
bone marrow
doing.
inside the clavicle and the ribs.
I'm going to honor these ladies.
And the marrow is like our like that source. You know how the marrow is in Chinese medicine, like that source that has its devil vital genetic. I'm doing ribs. So I'm doing like the clavicle, like here, like the bones connect here is like the only spot on the body where like the bones and the arm are actually connected.
Wow.
It's always this, and yeah.
You see, that's it. I'm just going to pause that for a minute because are you still there, John? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
That's how blessed we are that we can explain what we mean by healing, but we can also show it now as well. This process whereby as someone gets symmetry, notice her biofield now that I've frozen her biofield. It's all green. It's all balanced. And so she's able to turn up the amplitude to go brighter. It's one of the most beautiful things human beings do. I've spent 30 years celebrating the joy of seeing people just show up like this. You know, it used to be 1 in 100. Now it's 30% of people show up. They're already like this. This is why I have so much joy and confidence in what I call the divine revelation. I'm not interested in the local fear mongering that's going on a kind of political or material plane, because I'm seeing this. This is what gives me joy. And I know it does you as well, John, because you're at it so many hours every day. Like,
yes.
Yeah. So Gaurav, are you? Yeah, Gaurav, are you about?
Gaurav's in the background. He has a video.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to get us back there now because I don't know how much longer we've got. I think we've only got a few minutes before Token is on, but I wanted Gaurav to at least. Otherwise, I'm going to have to do a really bad version of directing. Oh, here you are, Gaurav. Okay, so can you play that video, like the 2-minute video, how to take biofield images? Yeah. Sorry, you've already asked me that. Pardon me. I was off. Me and John were off in the revelation. But bless you, Gaurav. John, thanks for being here with me. I was a bit worried because I was so sick earlier that there was a chance I wasn't even going to be able to speak. But somehow I've gone and got beautifully inspired.
Yes.
Rocky, get down. Sweetheart, Rocky's up on the kitchen counter. I can't. Brilliant.
Thanks, Gareth.
Yeah, brilliant. Sorry, I was telling my dog was also jumping up on the counter. I don't know whether my mic was on for that. Yeah, Gareth, that was perfect. I mean, that's a video that anyone can watch anytime on YouTube. They just got to look it up. I think Tanya Richardson, one of our colleagues, very kindly is hosting it. She did all that amazing work because she just wanted to make something that was kind of foolproof. And I think that's pretty foolproof. So, but what we're really saying, John, is that Biofield images can be taken anywhere by anyone using the sun. You know, you can take a selfie. It's an art piece. But if you want to use it as we're describing to observe the biofield, you need to get the balance of light right, because the biofield is like an ultra weak signal compared to the sun or a light source. So you can't expect to get a good interpretable image if you don't honor what it's trying to do, what your software is trying to do. That's why we're suggesting be lit from in front. I mean, that light that the young lady had looked really sophisticated. Not everybody's got one of those. They could use the light on their iPhone, couldn't they? But they need to be closer because it's to do with how bright it is. Otherwise, what's going to happen is you will still get an interpretable image, but the image will be dark. It's like you're in the shadows, unfortunately, because although iPhone lights are good, they're not sort of photographic quality. The moment you go to a photographic studio, you know, the lights are pretty bright. So what we're encouraging people to do is use the sun or professional lights, because the sun's reliably bright. And as the video had, there was some white walls and what have you. But the fact is, John, we're going to have to leave this as an invitation for anyone who wants to use our technology in this healing challenge. All they need to do is write to Gaurav at Biofield Sciences on an email, and he will send you the link and the password, and you can use it for as long as you like in 2026. If you're doing it for good purposes and full of light and you're using it, we're going to keep this challenge link open for the hundreds of you or thousands of you that share it. That's just something we're going to do. And we'd love to see more and more people using it. That's what John and I want. We want more and more people to use it and to help themselves. So without further ado, John, we are going to cut. Thanks so much for being there with me. Token's up. Hi, Token. How you doing, girl?
Should unmute myself. I'm good. How are you doing?
Brilliant. My God, if I look into the dark recesses of your office, I can see some charts or something. So we're already being set the scene that this is a therapist's teacher. So my God, John and I have just cluttered out of our lab into your teaching environment. So wonderful. And thanks for that. Reminding you and everyone that this is a healing challenge. It's a New Year's resolution challenge. And we're just giving snippets, 20 minutes, half an hour, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But of course, dive deeper. I mean, we're not even going to find out all the different strings in your bow today. That's just not going to happen. But we're going to get a bit of you. And importantly, because you've got one of those beautifully strange names like my own, I know people just need to Token Plaskett. Is that for real? Is that a real name? Is there someone in the world called Token? Oh my God, I need a token in my life. You know, all that's going to happen. So I'm just going to let you get on, girl. Do your thing. I'll see you on the other side.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's going to be fun. So, as I said, or am I on? Oh, there we are. Okay. So, as Thornton was saying so graciously, my name is Token Plaskett. I grew up in, I mean, I went to school when I was 2 with my father at the chiropractic college. I remember the lecture halls. I remember being swung upside down by all those really happy to have a toddler in their midst, new soon to be chiropractors, to, you know, actually use a real child for experimentation. My mother did, when I was older, brain gym by Paul Dennison and Gail Dennison, and Touch for Health from John Thie and Matthew Thie, based in Applied Kinesiology by George Goodhart. So I grew up with all of this all around me. And then as I got older, I decided to challenge myself with some rather interesting experiences in life, as we all do. And one thing I noticed is that even though I knew all these tools, I had all of these tools at my availability, it was really difficult for me to access these things when I'm in the middle of all the stress. I mean, now I'm an instructor in Brain Gym and Touch for Health. I teach all these courses. And then also growing up, my mother also created Learningmoves, which is based in Brain Gym and Touch for Health, but she also had her own things involved in that. So all of these gifts, all of these tools, and when I'm in the middle of all the stress, like how many of you, have studied so many things or even know certain things, and you've done your meditations and you've done all the stuff, and then crap hits the fan and you're like, you forget everything. Now, logically, I had the education. I knew what happened logically, but I was still asking myself the same thing. And I thought, okay, I would like something that's gonna, automatic pilot kicks in. Exactly. You lose access to the top of your brain. You don't have access to thinking and remembering and all this stuff. And yet I learned as well from my mother, oh, guess what? There's the cerebellum, which records everything, and that's in the base of the brain. So why is it, when I'm in fight and flight and sympathetic nervous system, I can't get out of it? What is all going on here? Parasympathetic, sympathetic, and we hear about our emotions and all the things we do. They're all useful. They're all good information. They're indicators of where we're at and what's going on within us, right? And then we hear, and it's kind of an implicit message. I don't think anybody really tries to say, but often my impression has been, personally, we hear about the polyvagal nervous system. We hear about sympathetic and parasympathetic, often referred to as the autonomic nervous system. And sympathetic being fight, flight, run away, or rest and digest. Otherwise that's midbrain, base of brain. We've got fight, flight, freeze, fawn, all these things, but we don't. That's no access up here. And I thought, why can't I remember everything? Well, I know why. I would like to have something to remember, though. I can do Brain Gym all day. I can do all those things, but for whatever reason, when I got in really, really stressful situations, seriously heavy stuff, it was gone. Or even if I did remember it, I didn't feel like I had access to it. So what I'm going to present to you today, I'm going to actually just give you one of my tools. And it's going to be based with the 5 elements as a framework. And the 5 elements is something that comes from the Chinese. It's used in Touch for Health. It's used in Brain Gym. Donna Eden uses it. And even though I give you a basic thing, I'm going to also invite you to do a before and after with the Biofield viewer, because it's really fun. It's a really good self-observational tool. You don't need it, but it's a lot of fun. You can go and just play with that. This stands on its own, though, too. So what I propose often is being able to look at the sympathetic nervous system, referring back to our emotions, as a good thing. I mean, we're all here because of it. Instead of running away from running away, to embrace that and use it as part of the process. And anybody can do this. A child can do this. It's so much fun. I mean, sometimes you cry. Okay, it's okay. But it's a part of the whole thing. It's seeing who you are and recognizing who you are and embracing that, even with gratitude. And guess what? You don't have to be a genius or some special, have all the special tools of, it's true clairvoyance. You're seeing yourself, self-observation. Your stress isn't your enemy. It's actually your friend. The tension you feel in your shoulders, that's simply an indicator, like the lights on the dashboard of your car. Oil light comes on, you're like, oh, I need to go take care of something. That's your oil light. All it's trying to do is communicate. You are trying to communicate with yourself. And when you ignore yourself, the volume goes up because your system, your whole body, mind, heart, and soul is simply trying to say, hello, I would like to give you some information. So on that note, if you have water, take a sip of water. Think about what calms you, what centers you, not just grounding, not just going up, from the bottom going up, somewhere in the middle. That's centering, which is kind of flowing. We weave in and out of that. It isn't just some stagnant, I'm in the middle. I am now stable. Nothing can move me from this spot. No. So let's do that. Couple brain gym things, but yeah, you start with water because we're electrical. And then you find your collarbone. It's these two bones that right here, 2 fingers and a thumb, and just put it right underneath in that hollow below the collarbone. And the other hand, put right over your belly button. And just breathe. You can move your eyes from right to left, breathing. And when that feels complete, switch hands. Again, 2 fingers right below the collarbone. Right to left. And then you're just breathing and breathing and breathing, and this is so nice. The next thing we want to do is engage the whole body. See, this is finding your midline. You want to find your midline with this. Then we're going to cross the midline. We want to do with the core of our body, crossing the midline, not just like a marching, like this. If you find yourself doing that, get into it. Do a fun little, you can go slow, like a Tai Chi thing, which is great. And the next thing you want to do, I know I'm going quickly here, but it's important to be able to have clarity with this. I'm going to share my screen here shortly. Window. There we are. So this is a picture of kind of doing what's called the hookup. Okay. I don't know how to have me on the side at the same time, but essentially you're crossing your feet there. That's what I wanted to get involved in that, because you can't see my feet on the screen right now. So, and the other thing is you put your hands out with your thumbs down. Oh, now they've gone and gotten all, well, we'll get it then, won't we? I closed it out. There we are. Aha. All right. So you put, to start this, what you do is you put your hands out and down, and then you cross them over and bring them together and bring it on up like this. And the arm that's on top, you use the opposite ankle foot to cross over, as you can see kind of in that picture there. Yeah. And then you can have your eyes open or closed, breathe in through your nose, breathe out through your mouth, in through your nose until that feels complete. And then you can put both of your feet stable and your fingertips together very gently, like a butterfly wing, or when you touch your eyelids, just a soft, soft, gentle touch. Okay. This is a tool that helps you get into present time. It's a tool that helps you get centered. Go ahead and stop sharing my screen. I don't know if I did that. I can't see anything. There we go. Thank you. And that's just to be in present time. That doesn't mean the stress is gone. In fact, now we know. So go ahead and grab the stress. Where is it? You think about something simple that's stressful, because we want to catch the stress. Okay, we're going to catch it, link it, and then it's going to flow. Catching your stress with breath or something, just notice. And you can kind of make a note, measure it 1 to 5. 5 being the most stress. It might be 100, I don't know, but somewhere in there, go ahead and measure it, just for self-noticing, because this is all about self-observation. We're listening to the signals. We're getting the information. We're getting the indicators, those little lights, and just observing. There's no judgment here. There's zero judgment. Super easy. And you could also say, if your stress had a color, what color would it be? All right. And this is something, again, you can do at home. You can even just do this with your kids or your partner, or whatever, by yourself, doesn't matter. I like to do these things when I'm in a safe zone, and then later I get to notice all the details that come after. So first, we're catching our stress, because our sympathetic nervous system has said something to us. Our stress has said, pay attention, please. And we're going to go, oh, right. Okay. I'm looking now. The moment you start ignoring it is the moment that volume gets turned up, and it gets louder in order to get your attention. Does anybody else experience this? I think it's life. It's a thing. So here we go. I am going to play some music. And what I invite you to do next is stand up, or if you want to do it in your seat, that's fine. But it's better if you're getting the whole system in motion. And you get to physically experience this. The tension might be in your hips, your shoulders, behind the eyes. It might be anywhere. Focus on that that tension. And we're going to link it to something you enjoy doing. You like yourself when you do it. It is a positive thing for you. It's a healthy thing. Okay? It could be as simple as walking. It could be as simple as turning in a circle. In fact, what we're going to do, see, now this is the 5 elements chart that we use, right? We've got earth in yellow, wood in green. On my left foot over here, we've got metal. Blue on my right foot, head is red, and purple's in the middle. All right? And you can do this anywhere. Take this whole chart. We're just going to do the white today. And the movement for that, the rhythmic movement for that, as an idea, you don't have to. If you have your own idea, do that. The rhythmic movement for white is a promenade. Okay? And a promenade is, it's like when you're walking down the aisle for a wedding. Step, and then you bring your next foot up. Step, pause, step, pause. And that's what we're going to do today. All right? You might not be able to walk at all at first. That's okay. Or You don't even have to use a promenade. You can do whatever you want. Here we go. Go ahead and start with that in motion. The white, the middle element, has to do with order and mastery, honoring what I am and am not, and creating boundaries. And just be in that. As you feel the stress, go ahead and just tell yourself thank you for letting you know. Thank you for telling me. Thank you for showing me there's something here. You're giving yourself the opportunity to hear yourself. And then you're linking it to the parasympathetic, or the rest and digest. Instead of having them separate anymore, they become a team again. And they're whole and complete, and you're able to move back and forth as you need in life. Avoiding getting stuck one way or the other, because you can get stuck on either side. All right. Pausing that there, that's basically it in a nutshell. And I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one in the world in thousands of years who's ever remotely come up with anything like this. But this is so simple, and anyone can do it. Anyone. A child can do it, whatever. I'm hoping that you get to play with this. Just enjoy it, play with it. Do a little the Biofield viewer before, do a pick before and after. You can do that too. And after the end of this, now go back and look at your scale 1 to 5 when you were thinking about your stress before. And is it the same or is it different? And the color of the stress, is that the same or is that different? You see, I believe we all have all of these tools in us. We can know all the things. I can go on for days about what I think is going on. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. I'm not, all the official stuff. But I am me, and I can know me, and you know you. You're the expert on you. And you have all the knowledge in you already. And that is so beautiful. And the reason why I figured out later on in life, I was, gratitude moves things, is something my mom said all the time. When you give gratitude to yourself, it moves things more than just saying, I love you. Philosophically, and I hear a lot out there, people say you need to learn how to love yourself. I disagree. I think you already love yourself. I think we all already love ourselves. We've been trying to communicate with ourselves, and by allowing ourselves to listen to these communications and apply something that acknowledges with gratitude what we're trying to share or warn ourselves. It might be an old survival technique, and we might be like, oh, I've been warning myself about this since I was, 10 years old or whatever. But as the moment we start listening, then suddenly things start relaxing. So perhaps with that invitation, you get to actually play and explore with curiosity yourself. your surroundings, your own stress. I mean, okay, I get it. Emotions, some of them are really uncomfortable. Physical sensations, whoa, stressful. Modalities, I can tell you, I've been doing a lot of breathing exercises before even just doing this presentation. I mean, I'm just as human as anyone else. And that is part of the fun of sharing all of this. You can share this with everyone. Anyone can do this. It doesn't take any special requirements. It doesn't take any special training. Anyone can do this. I do offer, a one day, it's just an 8-hour course just for this, in your element, I call it, because it's all in your element. It's all in you. You get to choose. You use like a labyrinth idea. You don't have to follow a specific pattern with the 5 elements, even though there is one. No, we're going to go everywhere. You get to pick your own pattern for whatever it is that you're choosing that time. And it could be different every time. You could just be in one place. You could be outside of it. You could go back and forth between two. You could go everywhere in there in any possible direction, because your system knows best for it, what it needs. And so that is another thing, the implicit trusting yourself. You don't need me, but I do offer this as a structure for you to go play and explore in, because you can all do it. You are fully empowered already, and you do love yourselves already. And the pain and the sadness are basically simply things that you're trying to communicate with yourself about whatever. I mean, it could be anything. And so you give yourself a little gratitude for communicating with yourself. It's okay. Yeah, use the spoons. Do Tammy's stuff. And Lilia and all of it. And Donna to come. You're going to see Donna, and she's amazing, as you already know. So here we are. Any questions, anyone?
That was great, Token. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think Thor's here in the background too.
Is he?
There
There he is.
Yay, come on, Thor. We're having a blast here.
Ooh.
Hi,
Hey,
Token.
look, Donna and David. Hey.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hi, guys. How brilliant. Well, we'll say goodbye to Token. Thanks so much for sharing your very intimate presentation with us. And I get the feeling that it was very much an invitation to come do some elements with you. And you've got your website there, learningmoves.com. So I'm totally thrilled about that. And bless you for sharing yourself with us.
Thanks for having me, and I wouldn't have met you if it wasn't for Tammy Anderson Ward and those energy healing conferences. So
right,
I gotta get
exactly.
credit where it's due. So that, and again, the other invitation, Thor, I said it before, go out and take these tools and take a Biofield viewer pick before, do the tool, and then take a Biofield viewer after, and have fun with it.
Right, exactly. I'm hoping everyone's going to do that. But anyway, Token, thanks so much. And we must hand the mic over to our guests, Donna and David, who always have blessed us in the most important moments for us. So that's a special reality. And we thank you for that. Kelmie's here too, and I'm sure she wants to say a few special words to introduce you guys, but this will be forever available to our audience, and I'm eternally grateful.
Yes, I'm so honored. First of all, I want to make sure that Donna and David see where to unmute their microphone because they're still muted. But it is my absolute honor and pleasure to introduce my teachers, mentors, friend, bosses, Donna Eden and David Feinstein. Take it away. Can we hear you? Can we hear you? Uh-oh, we can't hear them. Gaurav, help.
They can't hear.
Oh, now we can.
Oh,
Now
they
we can.
can. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
But we just take off now? We go, okay, hi. Well, my name is Donna Eden, and this is my partner, David Feinstein, since 1977. and we really love sharing about energy medicine, which I've been teaching since 1977. I started because I healed myself from multiple sclerosis and then terrible, terrible allergies. And it just grew from there. I wanted to share with everybody on this planet that it was possible to make themselves feel better. And so we're going to give you tools to go into 2026 feeling confident and with the ability to get your energy back if you lose it, or how to overcome stress and depressions and all of the things that get in your way are just throwing you off where you don't feel centered. So these are magical tools that work with every single human being on the planet. And yes, that's what we plan to do. I'll just start. There are many, many, many tools, but I think I'll tell you what happens to me if I get thrown off and I'm suddenly not centered or don't even feel like me. I will put one finger at my third eye, one finger in my belly button, middle finger, push in and pull both of them up. And it will tend to make you want to take a deep breath. And go ahead and breathe if you feel like it. But what this does is it hooks up central meridian that goes up the front of your body and governing meridian, which goes up the back of your body. And it creates a microcosmic orbit that goes around your body that hooks you up, which keeps your aura intact and makes you centered, makes all the yin and yang energies in your body connect and flow together. So it's about coming home to self. You want to come home to yourself. This is the best way I know. Okay, that's number one. How easy is that? The next one, when you get stressed out or when anything throws you off, your energies quit crossing over. We are meant to cross over from the right hemisphere to the left side of the body and the left hemisphere to the right side of the body. And many more crossovers, all the way down to your cells, because that's in your DNA, that crossover pattern. So just immediate, put your right hand, put on your left shoulder, push in hard, then pull across your shoulder, lighten up your hand and cross to your opposite hip. Then the other side, push in on your shoulder, cross over, lighten up, and come to your opposite hip. Do it a few times. And that's another coming back to self, coming back to your brain working better. Okay, I'm going to do one more because I think I can fix that. Okay. So that is remembering that your brain won't work as well if your energies aren't crossed over. So that's really, really important. I think one of my favorites, I'll do one more, then I'm going to give it to you to do something, David. But I call it the triple warmer smoothie. And triple warmer is the energy that governs the fight, flight, or freeze response when you get really either frightened, upset, thrown off, just stressed to the max. So if you rub your hands together and shake them off, lay your fingers across your eyes and take a deep breath in. And as you let your breath out, drag your fingers to your temples. Now do another deep breath here. And right where your fingers are points called triple warmer. Triple warmer neurovascular. So you're silencing everything. Excuse me. Well, excuse me. Okay, from there, you take a deep breath in, go up around your ears, down your neck, hang on your shoulders, push your fingers in hard, drag them across, and then just land on your heart chakra. When you land on your heart chakra, it's another coming home to yourself. So what you just did was, these are regulator points when you cross your eyes. Your eyes immediately hook into regulating something new for yourself. And so you've done that, and then you come to your temples. These are triple warmer neurovasculars, and neurovasculars bring blood back up into your forebrain and regulate your energies. So you just take one deep breath there, then around your ears, and going around your ears is triple warmer. So you're tracing triple warmer backwards. You're coming to the top of your neck. You go down the sides of your neck, and you're going down your vagus nerve, which regulates your nervous system. So you can imagine how valuable that is. And then lay your hands on your shoulders. In your shoulders, you've got all sorts of meridians here, from large intestine, triple warmer, small intestine. All of these things get stressed out when you get stressed out. So push your fingers in hard, drag them across, and just come home to yourself and your heart chakra. Okay, now we give one to David.
Well, I just want to comment a little bit, because if you are familiar with energy medicine, you know what she's talking about. If you're not familiar, you may be thinking, what in the world are you talking about? These incantations that you do with your hands. And I just want to just kind of say that in energy medicine, we're looking at a variety of kinds of energies. We're looking at good energy, bad energy, strong energy, so kind of a global type of energy, and you want to really keep that strong. But in the body, there are electromagnetic connections and signals that are going on all the time, and you can influence those with your hands. Your hands have an electromagnetic field, so each of the pathways Donna is showing you are working with those electromagnetic fields. And energy medicine is just the tip of the iceberg. We're just trying to give you a few techniques to really have in your back pocket as you go into the new year, because what they are designed to do is help you function better, help you think better, help you feel better. So these are just some simple ones. So just to review, you just learned 3. One is the hookup, and say what that's for, Donna.
The hookup. It hooks up all the yin forces in your body with the yang forces. So you have just better communication between all your cells. And it really does bring you back to yourself if you've been thrown off.
So it brings you into better balance.
Yes, a total better balance.
And then the second one was this one. And why would you do that?
Oh, this is so important. When you get stressed out or something throws you off, you go into a state called homolateral, and you want to get out of that, because you've got less than 50% ability to heal yourself or to lift yourself out of stress if you're homolateral. So just because your hands are electromagnetic, your body is electromagnetic, you align your energies up with your hands' energies, and your energies will follow your hands. Your energies will just follow exactly to your hands. And suddenly you're thinking better, you're feeling better, you're just centered, you're more centered.
Great. Yes. And so the third one is called the triple warmer smoothie.
Yes.
It starts at the eyes, and you come to the temples and
up around the ears, down the neck, hang on the shoulders, then drop to your heart chakra.
You would do that because...
And what you do that for is you calm that fight, flight, or freeze response. It goes down, and you just suddenly, you're okay. You're more present in the situation. You can think better. Triple warmer has calmed. And you've also calmed your nervous system with this side of the neck here. You've regulated the flow. So you're teaching your body to regulate even on its own, because the more you do these exercises, the more your body knows how to do it automatically.
So Donna's credentials are, as she said, she healed herself from MS that was considered by her doctors, numerous specialists that she just could not be cured. And they had actually told her that her organs are breaking down and that she needs to get her affairs together because she is dying. And she had a heart attack at 27 because her heart was in trouble. So and her other credential is that she can see energies. And it wasn't though until she was really ill that she realized she could do that. She could see energies for healing. And so that kind of put her whole system in. And her third credential is that she's trained literally hundreds of thousands of people in this method. So she's got that going. My credential is that I got into energy medicine through marriage. So, but I maybe have a little bit to teach since I've been around her since 77, as she said. And one of my favorites is very simple. It's kind of a meditation exercise. So I'm in my head a lot. And when I really want to get more present, just come into the world beyond my thoughts. Just be present with Donna or be present with anything is very simple. It's notice breath, soften belly, open heart. So first one is do it with me. Notice breath. Soften your belly. And imagine the energies of your heart opening. Once more, notice breath. Soften belly. Open heart.
And that truly shifts his energy, since David is very different than me. And when we've been in difficult situations, maybe together, because his energy goes right up to his head. He's this brilliant man, but his energy goes up to his head, and doesn't feel so brilliant when he's in an emotional situation. So what you just did, and opening the heart it really works for him. Suddenly I can reach him. Suddenly he's present and has his emotions going, and his heart is open, and he's soft. He's soft from those three things doing. So that's a good one to do. So all of these things, I really, really want to encourage you to try them, to do them, because they will make such a difference. They will make such a difference.
Energy medicine does not work if you don't do it.
Yes. Yes. So let's see. I think we've got time for something else. Okay. If you have a partner, I'm going to tell you this is to cross that energy over, to have my partner. Let's see. David, stand up. Come back to the red line. So
Just put the camera up a bit.
okay. Now he's going to do the same thing on my back that you did on the front of you. But it feels so good. Okay.
So you want to dig in with the right hand first. Dig in, come over the shoulder hard, then still with some pressure to the opposite hip. Then the other side. And do it about 3 to 5 times.
Oh, I'm telling you, you even start standing up straighter. It's really, really good. Thank you, David.
Very simple. It's a little gift you can give to your partner, you can give to your kids.
I'll show him another gift. I'll show you another gift. Come here, David. Get behind me. I'm going to use this as my wall.
Oh, okay.
And he's going to get behind me. Okay.
It's another one that you can do for a partner or a friend.
I'll just tell you, right next to your spine, you have these little points called neurolymphatic reflexes. And when you've gone through something difficult, they fill up with toxins and upset. And so now you can't see my head. I'm going to go this way.
So what I'm doing is I'm not on the spine. I'm on either side of the spine. And as long as you're there, you can work with your thumbs. You can put some weight into it.
Yes.
It's, if the person has back injury, you need to be sensitive to any vulnerabilities, but generally people can tolerate quite a bit of pressure here as you move down and move all the way down to the sacrum.
And it is magic. It
And then
feels
just
so good.
Sweep it off.
Years ago, David and I are in really great shape these days. But when we were young and trying to make our relationship work, and we were so different. And we often say that, nobody really gave us a chance in making it. And we've been together since 77. So, and I wouldn't have anybody else. But anyway, when I've been really the maddest at him, he would do those points down my back and I would just melt. He would be the most loving person and it would help him come out of his head too. So those are great points and they're very good for your health because they clear toxins out of your body. And stresses, depressions, emotions, those are all toxins. Oh, let me back up to something. This crossover pattern, if you are depressed, you are homolateral. That means your energies are not crossing over. That's one of the first things you notice, that you just don't have the pizzazz and the excitement and the happiness and the vitality. You don't have it. You're depressed. Get your energy crossed over. That's the most important thing. And we've got time. I'm going to say more. Okay. We did not know how much time we would need for all of this, so we're just going ahead. We have something called the 4 thumps. And after you've hooked up, after you have done the crossover and the triple warmer smoothie, do this. Come to right underneath. Oh no, come right here to your cheekbones. I'm going to show you. Well, you push in on your cheekbones. Is there any tenderness there on your cheekbones? Is there any tenderness there? If there is, you need this. If if you've got any tenderness there at all, you need this. And it means your energies from on a meridian called stomach meridian are not going down all the way to the floor. That energy on that meridian needs to go all the way to the floor so you can feel very grounded. So if you just tap right here, breathe deep and tap. Okay, that's stomach meridian. If you come down.
That's the first thumb.
Yes, that's the first thumb. Then come down below your collarbone. Find the corner there on your collarbone. Drop below that. And most people will have a little indent there. I have found people who don't have indents. It doesn't mean anything's wrong with you. That's just your body. But right below the collarbone.
Yeah, right below the knobs. For most people,
knob.
there's a knob. It's right below the knob.
And tap. I wish you haven't tapped much. You just found it. I'm going to show something. One of the things we like to do is energy test people to let them know if they need something. I want you to hold your arm with heart. He's pretty strong. He can get a little stronger.
Yeah, I've already been doing it.
Yeah, he's been doing a little bit. Let me do it. I'm going to tell you, just keep going. Okay, he doesn't, it's not sustaining him. So, right there. Now I'm going to ask you to tap it hard, David. Those points are points called K27. These were stomach 2. This is K27. It's the 27th point on kidney meridian.
Acupressure points.
Yes. Now I'm telling you, this will not only shoot energy up to your eyes, and you'll know it if you're driving late at night and you can't stay awake. Really thump there, and it'll send energy up to your eyes so you can see better and you're not asleep. Now I'm going to see.
It doesn't work. Pull over.
Okay. I'm going to hold. Now he's very strong. This will give you energy. And it also clears out your kidneys so that your kidneys function better. And kidneys govern fear, by the way. So if you have any fear going, this is another good time to do this, but these are very good when you're off and you're, okay. The next one is right here. This is your thymus. Now your thymus gland, think of Tarzan. He would thump his thymus before he would swing on the vine, but also the apes all thump there. There is a reason. There's something instinctual. I mean, as humans, well, like me, I tend to go, oh, when something is surprising me, or, oh no, this is a little scary, I tend to grab there. And grabbing if I just tap there, that would be good. But you'll see people go like, oh no, they'll go like that. But thumping your thymus is such an excellent thing to do, because it will not only help you get your vitality back, it will, well, your thymus gland makes T cells, so it's very important for your immune system. So that's just a good one to do.
And at the same time, it's also your heart chakra.
Yes.
So you've got a dual benefit, because the heart chakra is doing something very different than the thymus gland. So you really want to keep your heart chakra active and open.
Absolutely. And in a few moments after we finish the last thump, I'm going to come back to here and show you something more about this, but I don't want to get confused. So come down to the fourth thump, just right below your bra line, or right on the side, are spleen points. Now, spleen meridian governs an easy life, simple joy, simple life, and good and calm and sweet. And it sits opposite triple warmer. So when you thump here, it helps triple warmer calm down. Triple warmer again governs fight, flight, or freeze. Now I'm going to show you something I had no intention at all of showing you, but I'm going to show you this because he was talking about all that this does. So your thymus gland, it sits right in the middle of your heart chakra. And as David said, it governs your heart chakra as well. And there's much more here than just that. I'm going to show you an exercise. It's a great one to go into 2026, as a matter of fact. Let's see, I'm going to turn to the side. Can you move over just a little bit?
Sure.
Okay. I know I can feel my soul deep into my heart chakra. I don't know if any of you can do that either, but the more you work with energy, the more those sort of aspects of energy fields start opening to you. And I can feel my soul right through there. And on the other side of your soul, okay, so your soul, your thymus, your heart chakra, then your aura goes around your body, and you go through at least 7 layers, and right out beyond, I'm going to turn to the side. So you see how my hands are going like this? Right beyond your aura is something called your assemblage point. I used to call it something different because I had never heard those words, but then somewhere late in the 70s, I began reading Carlos Castaneda, and he named something that I was seeing all this time, and he called it the assemblage point. And the reason why he called it the assemblage point is because this point out here beyond your heart chakra and your aura assembles who you are, assembles your spirituality, assembles your values, your ideas, your belief systems, assembles you. And that is a connection from your aura out here. And so if you would like, going into 2026, think of your assemblage point as I do. I think of it as your North Star, that can lead you. So if you put your hands out here and be conscious, go ahead, do it like this. Bring your hands out to the side. All right, here's a little bit further. Hands that way. Nobody can see me, David. Then turn your hands down and just take a breath or two and see if you can feel the energy coming up to your hands from the earth. After a couple of breaths, or after you feel it, turn your hands over and feel the energy coming down from the heavens and the universe. And then put them so they'll face each other, and very, very slowly come in and see if you can feel that ball of energy between your hands. and just hold it. You are holding your assemblage point. See, it's not really a point. It's a sphere, but it got called a point, assemblage sphere. And then bring your hands together and hold that feel and then bring it back to your heart chakra. That's a smart way to go into 2026. So, let's see. I guess we should just wrap this up. We both enjoyed this. I know we did.
I want to say, can I say one more?
Yes,
Sorry,
yes, Kelmie,
because I just
please.
thought of another thing that's here in the heart chakra, and you can't really end class without it, right? Because there's a vortex here,
Yes.
right?
A vortex here called heaven rushing in. Thank you for bringing that in, Kelmie. Heaven rushing in. When you put your hands here, heaven rushes in with gratitude for you, who you are, and validation for you, and affirming you, and helping you with your your confidence going into 2026. Thank you for remembering that.
And how do we do it? What do we do? We go out, right?
Yeah, all right. Following Kelmie now.
Yeah, we go out. Best if you can do it under a night sky. You can pretend there's a night sky and you hold your arms up and you gather all that beautiful energy up in your hands, and all your guides and your angels and your ancestors are there, and they pour in through your hands with all this help and healing energy for you, and you scoop it up and you bring it in your heart chakra.
Yeah.
And then if you're like, that is just not enough, I need a little bit more, then you just
yes.
Thank you so much, Donna and David. Oh, wonderful.
Thank you, Kelmie. Thank you, Cora. Thank you, both of you. And we do wish you such, multitudes of Thanksgiving as you go into 2026.
We feel blessed. I feel blessed. It's so nice hearing you guys unscripted. I think everybody's got such a beautiful, delicious feast to enjoy.
Thank you.
So it's my job now to not just thank Donna and David, and I love the way they work together like that. That was just brilliant. Probably I should have had some great words about the contributions David made as a scientist and the contributions that research has done to lay credibility to all these different tools. Certainly we've learned today that there's an anatomy and physiology that in our excitement we may assume, but we're all saying, go learn about it. And I think that's really crucial as well. So, with that in mind, and not to keep everyone sat for too long in front of the computer, I'll just share my blessings to you all, and I look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you. We loved it. And thank you, Kelmie.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Brilliant. Well done. And thanks, Gaurav. We would not have been able to do this without him.
Yes.
And all those. Yeah. God bless you, everybody.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.